Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, I am back. I'm sure my whole two, three, however many subscribers miss me. Addressing where the fuck I've been. For like all of February, I had a chest infection, was on death's door completely. Uh, the whole month of Feb was written off. Uh, Completely threw me out of my rhythm. My circadian rhythm was a bit wacko. Um, but yeah, I missed the whole Alex stuff, the I'm Alex stuff. Uh, the lost media of my stream, episode 0, was about, part of it was about the whole I'm Alex situation. It's old news now, so I'm not going to rehash it, but I did kind of know that dude was a bit of a weasel and a bit of a little bitch. So I'm not, you know, I don't think watching that video is going to show me anything that I didn't already know. Like the stuff that we reacted to in the last episode, him, being pretty abusive to his ex, calling her the N word, allegedly kicking her, which supposedly he's admitted. Again, wouldn't know. Old news, couldn't care less, and I'm sure you don't either at this point. So I will get to actual current news. That current news being that Idubbbz has seemingly crawled out of his hole. I mean, he's been making videos. Where is it? I'm cutting way forward.
What?
So he's been making videos, but ever since his whole apology for making his old videos and saying that he doesn't like his fans, the list went on. He apologized for every single content cut video that he made. For those who don't know, Content Cop was a series that Idubbbz did where he called out YouTubers for not being great as people, for the most part. So episode 1, it was about reaction content and how lazy people used to be. I mean, some people still are. But yeah, people used to just sit there, not add anything to the videos. Seemingly still a thing today, but no one talks about it much anymore. And the people that do talk about it are either right or they're Dark by Pray You, and they poison the whole well. Like it takes a few to get good. I'm gonna say that. So React content was fine. He made a couple slot videos. His Fine Bros one was about how they wanted to copyright the word React and make anyone that was making React content pay him royalties because they're using the copyrighted word of React, and they tried to make like an umbrella kind of pyramid scheme type. But if you react to a video, you can do it under the Fine Bros umbrella, which just do it for free, dude. I don't know. Get your bag, get your paper. Then he made a Keemstar one, revolutionary. Completely destroyed Keemstar's career for a little bit, but like a cockroach, he just doesn't die. He is very much still around, despite how much I hate that and how much a lot of people hate that. A couple more slap videos. Leafy's video was about how Leafy lives in a glass house. Will bully anybody on Earth, basically, kids included. But he's really insecure about his own looks. I'm really just taking views away from all of these videos. Jake Paul was actually about it was about Rice Gum. I forgot his name. That's how irrelevant he is, which is ironic because that was his whole catchphrase. Yeah, it was just about how much Rice Gum sucks. I feel like that's old news. Tana Mojo, he made a video about how she fabricated stories, exaggerated a bunch, called him out for saying the N word, even though she'd said it many times, and then said that he wishes he broke both of his legs, I believe. So like some of these people, you know, Tanner, Roscoe, Leafy, Keemstar, they're all deserving of criticism. He apologized for all that, undid his whole history, made a video that at the age of 30 he learned the skill of empathy, which is, I don't know, concerning. It's a bit like rip the legs off an insect when you're a kid type behavior. If you need to learn how to, you know, not be awful. But more power to him, man. If it took him that long to learn how to not be a turd, then so be it. But I think the part that really alienated people was the whole disavowing of this content and the people that enjoyed it, when for the most part what he was saying was, you know, very much deserved. You know, calling people out for being shitty people, much like you see here. So he made a short the other day that kind of sent the internet into a bit of a frenzy, where he said that he was making a new content cop. So that was like his whole intro music. People were, I want to say hyped, but people were more cautious this time around because Idubbbz' reputation is very much in the toilet. Like, or any credibility he had, any good standing that he had is pretty gone. You know, he's come out as being pretty spineless. There's a lot of, you know, like Yoko Ono comments about his wife. He says that she was there for the whole, you know, peak of his career and helped make those videos that people like so much. So I don't know that I quite agree that she made him awful, but I can agree that they're both awful. And again, he's got no spine, no balls. You know, we just want someone that makes good videos, and Idubbbz in the last few years at this point has had a bit of a 1,000-yard stare. You know, he looks like a bit of a shell of a person, which sucks, you know, because he's someone who a lot of people looked up to back in the day, and, you know, someone who got a lot of views on their videos. His content cup ended up being about Ethan Klein, H3H3. I've spoken about him before on the channel. Again, I've no allegiances. I just calls it like I sees it, and when I see some bullshit, then I call it out. Left, right, I don't care who you are. If you say some crazy shit, I'm gonna say that you said some crazy shit. I don't think that's, you know, I don't think that's undeserved. So, the whole Ethan Idubbbz rift started a lot later than Idubbbz' rift with a lot of people. When a lot of people calling Idubbbz out, Ethan was still very much there, and people were saying, like, why are you still associating with this guy? He's a bit of a pussy. Until the CPS were called on Ethan's family. Backstory behind the CPS thing, we'll watch. I don't know if we'll watch the whole video. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Found the screenshot on Reddit. The peak of the internet. Bad Empanada, he's one of, I want to say he's one of Hassan Parker's friends, but he's not. He's just this unhinged dude on YouTube that makes videos. He alleges that he called CPS on Ethan. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. Can't trust him as far as I can throw him type shit. And you know I got him great so I can throw it quite far. You know what I'm saying? So, he says in a YouTube comment, now deleted YouTube comment, supposedly, that Ethan states his child contracted Giardia from the dog. This parasite can only be contracted through fecal ingestion. In short, Ethan says that because the dog has it, the dog's, you know, sitting on a bunch of things, probably wiping his ass on the carpet. Maybe. He didn't say it that much, but it's a dog. You know, dogs do what dogs do. And that maybe his kid picked up like a toy that the dog sat on, put it in his mouth because he's a baby. You know, dogs are weird, babies are weird. Um, so yeah, Ethan says the only way to get it is through fecal matter, and he chalks it down to maybe like an accident. Um, that kind of snowballed into people saying that Ethan has dog shit all over his house and that no one's picking it up. Even though the guy has maids, so I don't know what they're getting paid to do. They're not cleaning up shit. He's being sued by one maid, but I'm sure he's got another one. He's a millionaire. But yeah, they were saying Ethan's dogs. There's dog shit all around the house. His kids are picking up the dog shit, putting it in their mouth, contracting diseases, which is like, I don't know. Based on what he said, maybe if you're a kind of mentally unwell, you'd think that. But again, as they say, the most common explanation is usually the most likely one. Something like that. You know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, they were accusing him of having shit all over his house, blah, blah, blah. CPS gets called, and that is really what started this whole drama. Because Idubbbz and Ethan go way back. Actually, one of the last videos on the Ethan Klein channel, the last video before the Hassan Piker stuff, was featuring Idubbbz. So, they've been close for a hot minute and stay close for a hot minute after that video. But his big issue with Idubbbz was that Anissa and Ian, Anissa being Idubbbz's wife, had been to Ethan's house, and they didn't say like, yo, what are you guys talking about? Shit all over the house, calling CPS. He's like a good dad. He's got a clean house. I've seen videos of Trisha Paytas saying that Ethan's a good dad and has a clean house. And if Trisha Paytas is saying that shit, I know she's unreliable at the best of times, but she hates her motherfucker. So if she had something to say about the state of his house, you know that Trisha Paytas would have been on the kitchen floor saying that shit by now. So Ethan made this whole video about how CPS was called on him. We'll get into that now, and then we'll get on to Idubbbz and Anissa's reaction to that, and then we'll get into the new content cut. This is going to be a whole trip. Sit down, grab a snack, grab a drink, get some popcorns. I don't know. You do fucking you, dude. But yeah, let's get into the first of probably many videos. Where is
In my long career on YouTube, I've pretty much seen it all. I've been swatted several times with LAPD helicopters.
Throw on the what's that? The Subway Surfers. So on the Subway Surfers for all the ADHD kids out there that need something to look at.
Street shut down. Police with guns drawn, doing a perimeter around my house. We've also been visited by the FBI 3 times. They were all to warn us of a credible threat against our lives. One time, most recently, he came at 7 a.m. and said, "Do not open any packages until you hear from me, as we have credible bomb threats against you that we found online." I thought I'd seen it all. I knew this content nuke was going to draw a lot of negative attention, seeing how extreme Hassan and his fan base are, and his orbiters. But the lengths to which they've gone to harass us and get revenge for going after their god king Hassan has frankly gone beyond any type of point of civility and humanity, to the point where they're calling CPS, Child Protective Services.
Just a quick backstory. You saw the content nuke stuff. Bad Empanada and all that kind of gang, Hassan's little dick riders, that's the right term. They were kind of up in arms. All of the H3 snarkers, our favourite people, who definitely have lives and sexual partners, were all very unhappy with that video. This was their response.
To come to our house and break up our family. On Friday morning, an
Rational.
agent showed up to our house saying that they had received an anonymous tip that our children were crawling around in dog shit, eating dog shit, and contracting diseases. Not only have they called CPS on us, now they're starting to try to call in a 5150 to get me committed. It's really gone on too far, and at this point, I'm ready to take no prisoners, take the gloves off, and call out everybody who needs to be called out. The thing is, once you target my children, then a line's been crossed that cannot be walked back. Once my kids are involved, when people are targeting my children, harassing my children, there's no length that I won't go to take care of this, and I think that's...
Yeah, that's pretty normal, I'd say. You know, everybody talks their talk on YouTube. Again, I'm pretty left. I don't like bringing politics into this stuff. Don't want to. But yeah, I'm pretty left. My shit is fucked. Why? Anyway, we talk the talk that we want to talk, but bringing people's families and shit into it has always been a bit of a no-no. Bro, what is going on, dude? Are you fucking okay? Like, I'm not. Okay. Okay. Anyway, yeah, bringing people's kids into shit is just really fucking unhinged. I would hope that anybody has a pretty similar opinion to that. I'm going to work on that because I do not know what's going on. Yeah, just leaving people's families out of it. You can criticise who you want to criticise. What is the need? You know? There's no reason to try to break up a family, ruin some kids' lives over some YouTube drama. That's insane. So yeah, just I don't know. Even if you want to criticize someone, I'm not gonna. Idubbbz and Anissa don't have kids, but I'm not gonna say, you know, Idubbbz' mom, she's a bitch, because I don't know her. You know, I have a problem with Idubbbz, not his family. I'm sure they're probably lovely people, but he himself, no backbone.
That's something that every parent can relate to. All these people, incidentally, who are promoting this type of insanity are, in fact, childless and will likely remain that way. The CPS agent showed up and he started asking us all kinds of questions like, who feeds the kids? Who takes care of the kids? What do you do to the kids when you get angry? How do the kids sleep? Do the kids have toys? Is that what happens when you get mad, or what happens when your kids get mad? He walked around the house. He looked in our refrigerator. He walked all around looking for dog shit, apparently, although when he showed up immediately, he said, wow, this place is clean. Our 3- and 5-year-old boys were at school. Our 8-month-old is upstairs sleeping when he visits, and he says, I need to go upstairs and look at your infant visibly to see him and confirm he's okay. Well, he's napping in his crib. He goes upstairs to look around the house, to snoop around. He investigates Sonny, our youngest, wakes him up from his nap, and even though he woke him up during his nap, he was greeted immediately, actually, by a smile, because Sonny is probably the happiest baby in the entire world. He smiles at everybody. His name is Sonny because he is just a ray of sunshine. He just gave him a big smile. I mean, he's just the sweetest kid in the world. So we went back downstairs to continue the conversation, at which point he said something that...
I mean, I don't want to steal views from Ethan.
That you are an absolute... that should have had us both...
This is a big part, actually.
Absolutely not. He said he was going to go to the children's school to interrogate them there. We both said, you are absolutely not going to ever go to their school and talk to them. That is fucking insane.
Yeah, so, like, I get that it's, you know, probably a very normal thing for CPS to want to separate the kids and the family, you know, talk to them separately. You know, not as in break up the families and get the sides of the stories independently. But, you know, being in a situation where you've done nothing wrong, um, and having CPS agents say that they're trying to talk to your kids in school, make a whole thing about it, make a whole scene at the school. The teachers are going to know that CPS agents are sniffing around. So, like, even um, even the fact that CPS were called in the first place is like, to a lot of people, final nail in the coffin. This dude's got allegations, he's guilty, which is like fucked. So there are going to be people at their school now that think just because CPS is called, they're horrible parents. Uh, I don't want to sound cliche, but innocent till proven guilty and all that. If CPS are investigating his kids, I'm sure if anything shady, uh, untoward, what are more fancy words I can use? Unbecoming, if anything fucked is going on, they're gonna call it out and say, these kids need to not live here. But yeah, making a whole scene, embarrassing them, um, kind of pinning the association that they're bad parents on them. I don't know what these people have better to do. And the reason I don't know that is because there is nothing better for them to do. They have no friends, no, again, sexual partners, just nothing going on in life. And that's not an accusation, because you can tell friendless behaviour from a mile away. You can tell someone that needs to touch grass. Uh, I have been in an office all day today, so I'm probably one of those people, but I'd like to say I'm expressing that a bit more healthily than calling CPS on a family that I don't know. Um, I don't know. It's a pretty low bar, but anyway.
We agreed that he'll come back to our house and interview our 3 and 5-year-old children at a time when they're at home, so he doesn't need to humiliate them in front of his peers, his teachers, the staff there, and needlessly stigmatize them. My young 3 and 5-year-old children, who are sweet and innocent as can be, have not yet been interrogated by a CPS agent, but that is due to happen on Wednesday. He also spoke to our nanny, our housekeeper. He's called the pediatrician that takes care of the kids. He talked to them. Pretty much sifted through every angle of our life having to do with our kids in an extremely violating, insulting, unbelievable way.
Again, if you're on the other side of it, I'm sure it's probably pretty awful. But it sounds like the CPS agent has been very thorough, which, like, as much as the situation sucks, is a very good thing, because it means that he's being thorough with hopefully everybody. So again, if there was something going on, I'm sure it would have been found by now, because of all that investigating that the agent's done.
Just a complete breach of privacy and inhumanity that it's like you can't believe that you, as somebody who has done nothing wrong, has taken care of your kids, to be subject to this forcible investigation because of some fucking freaks online called anonymously to say that our kids are crawling around in shit. The immediate question for me was, who did this and how am I going to hold them accountable? It didn't take me long to catch the trail of the obvious suspect, which is the work of a subreddit dedicated to harassing me, my family, my coworkers, and their families.
Yeah, well, I kind of hit the nail on the head with the history shit.
Snark. H3 Snark is the place that they originated. If you don't know what...
I'm somewhat of a YouTube historian myself.
Snark is, it's this growing phenomenon of communities dedicated essentially to destroy someone's life, picking it apart, harassing them, and just trying to ruin their life. It's
I do know for a fact that in a lot of these communities there is this mentality of no bad tactics, just bad targets. So example being, I don't know, that there is this YouTuber out there that's actually abusing their families and shit. it's not a bad tactical CPS on him. But the problem with that mentality is that the line very much gets blurred as to where the bad targets are. People don't like Ethan Klein because they think that he thinks every Palestinian should die. I don't know. They think he's like genocidal. When he said for a while that he his ideal would be like a two-state solution where everyone wins kind of thing. No war, peace and love, man. So I think that's kind of the problem, is that they've kind of pinned this stuff on him, and a lot of the things that I see, whenever someone asks for evidence, they just say, "Watch his videos, man," and then you click on his videos, and he's guessing if someone's high or drunk or what on his podcast. There's nothing to it. This whole situation, to me, does seem like it's living in his head rent free. But the more it progresses and goes on and turns into a CPS being called, I don't know how much I can blame him for that. Maybe when it started off as Hassan fans just talking shit, he could have just, he's again, he's a millionaire. He's got better things to do, I'm sure, but somehow he catches wind of this shit. And you can argue about if he should be looking at it. I definitely think he's got a right to respond to it if he sees it. If he sees something that he sees as slanderous or just like false, I think he's fully got the right to call that out as such. Again, I very much respect the right to call bullshit out when bullshit's seen, because that's kind of what I want my whole thing to be. So yeah, he has been letting it get to him, but at this point, I really can't blame him.
Something that's become quite common on the internet, and something that Reddit, who is the main host of such activities, has completely turned a blind eye to. Take, for example, right here, H3H3_, which is the new snark page. The top post on this page is from somebody named Bad Empanada, which we'll learn more about. It says, Bad Empanada with another banger. Quote, "You're the best parents I've ever seen," said house slave Abdullah Ayad to the Kleins after CPS visited them because their kids contracted parasites from dog feces. The Kleins...
See, this is what I mean by, like, I don't want to get political with it. Anybody that throws around the word house slave, I mean, I'm sure there's a context where that fits and is, like, not out of pocket. But calling... his point here is that he's, a Muslim guy on a podcast hosted by two Jewish Israeli citizens, and that he's like, being oppressed but saying good job, but it just kind of removes like any kind of autonomy. AB, that's Abdullah Ayad, that's what he goes by, Star Killer. He had a career. I'm not sure he was quite, fully on YouTube. I'm sure he probably still had a job, but he had enough subscribers without Ethan Klein. Granted, that gave him a big boost, but like, he is a person. He's a human. Like, he has an existence outside of H3. So again, terms like that just kind of throw away any kind of autonomy. I would hope that it's very human to agree and disagree with things as you see them. I'm sure if AB had such a big, huge problem with the rhetoric that Ethan Klein was spitting out, that he would have said something, that he and his wife, who also works there and is also Muslim, would have, walked off the podcast, whatever, taken a break. But he didn't do anything like that. And I think that just goes to show that what Ethan's saying isn't that insane. Since he has two Muslims, there's I'm sure there's probably as many Jewish people on that podcast as Muslim people. So maybe Dan's Jewish. I don't know. With America, it's really pick a straw. Flip a coin. Jew here, Jew there. Well, we don't have like any in the UK. It's weird. Like I've literally never met a Jewish person, but yeah, it's so common there. But yeah, like it's a damn near 50-50 split between Jewish people and Muslim people on that podcast. So if something crazy out of pocket was said, it would be known by now. Let's just say that.
Clients frequently advocate for genocide of Arabs while Ayad sits obediently in silence. He is a tame domestic animal.
Again, calling him an animal is just like, what?
This is just literally anyone of a normal disposition can see plainly how fucking insane this is. It has 400 upvotes after 3 hours. It's a very active sub of absolutely deranged individuals. The problem is that this subreddit, this community, is being legitimized by creators such as Hassan, such as Denims, such as Mike from PA, and all these leftist commentators who think they can get...
Ethan, I said it the best way you could say earlier. They are hard dick riders.
Up on me by sicking and participating and legitimizing the most crazed psychopaths on the internet.
I bring this to YouTube because I
mama.
respect the H3.
We spoke about Idubbbz McIntyre last time in the Page Christie video. I am a gay. We do not claim Adam McIntyre. We used to claim Adam McIntyre, and then Adam McIntyre's brain got put in a microwave or something. I don't know. Maybe he stood too close. Maybe his lip filler went to his brain. I do not know. But that man, he ain't one of us no more. At least not to me. If you want gay people to follow on the internet, I wouldn't start with him. That's all I'm gonna say. There are much better people.
And I believe that they're being silenced. And I saw on the H3 Snark that Ethan had uploaded Instagram stories about Mika's rhetoric that says...
And it's about the H3 Snark subreddit. For more than a year now, Ethan has been talking about it and saying how toxic this place is, how they promote harassment, doxing, stalking, and why it should be banned.
Because I believe these Snark subreddits on Reddit should be banned. It's literally fostering the most psychopathic... It encourages harassment, doxing, stalking...
I think he goes on to say it later, but he does actually get doxed by the subreddit. They leak his work address, the podcast studio. They say, these floor plans line up to what we've seen on the podcast. Which is just like... Doxing is, to me and to most people, when you take private information, throw it out there for the world to see. That's pretty dictionary definition in a lot fancier words, I'm sure. He never blasted, this is where I work. Come see me. As far as anyone's aware, that was pretty private information, so he definitely did get doxxed.
It's just...
Hassan reacting how Hassan reacts by not saying fucking anything.
Not the Destiny subreddit.
I think it's time to hold
Brilliant.
all of them accountable. Here for
Fuck Destiny, by the way. I would watch the last stream. Again, no allegiances. If Ethan says some crazy shit, I'm gonna call it out. But I haven't seen that, so I'm not gonna make a video that. I'm not gonna make things up. But yeah, this fucking. I've called the stream Idubbbz commits friendly fire. There is no friendly fire here. There's just fire, bitch. I will fucking call out anybody that has any crazy shit to say. I don't want to call it like policing because that makes it sound cringe. But yeah, if people are acting fucking stupid on the internet, then I'm gonna point it out.
example is Denims, aka...
I'm not gonna say anyone's career should be ruined. That's what I mean. I'm not policing. Just don't be a fucking idiot, and then you won't have me and other people watch you on their streams.
On waiting room, watching Bad Empanada talk about the state of our house and how we take care of our kids. Let's take a look.
He lets his dogs shit all over his mansion, and he just leaves the shit on the floor, something that is probably related to the fact that his former housekeeper is suing him for a number of different reasons. So
I'm not covering up much, by the way. It's only Denim's whole personality.
I would assume he doesn't actually have a housekeeper anymore, or perhaps he lost his extra housekeeper. So now the house is just like covered in dog shit. And he has kids, and his kids like...
This housekeeper is absolutely overworked. She can't even get through the whole house. You know, his mansion is so massive that she can't clean the whole thing in one day. You know, she'll clean their bedroom, and then while she's cleaning the bedroom, there's dog shit in the living room. You know, how can you blame her for having dog shit all over the house? His house is too big. It's too big. She can't clean it all. Oh!
Like crawl into the dog shit, and God forbid, I don't know what they do with it. I don't know if they eat it or if it's just from like contact with it with their hands or something.
Okay. Context about this clip. Denim's has said that this is deceptively edited to make it seem like these messages are all concurrent in the chat. You know, they're all in a row. The way it's shown here is the way it actually happened in the live stream. It wasn't, supposedly, but I don't think that matters. I think they were in your fucking chat and completely unmoderated. You know, it's so not hard to just be normal. You know, hire mods so that people don't encouraging calling CPS, you know. I don't know, man. Every single time I do one of these live streams, I always end up exhausted and baffled at the fucking brain rot degeneracy that I see. But someone has to call it out, and that is a sacrifice I'm willing to make. You're welcome. If I make it more tolerable, then again, you're welcome. If I don't, then apologies, because that means you're going through it exactly the same way that I am, with more waiting around. So, my bad.
But they contracted a parasite that I had previously never heard of in my life called Giardia from the dog shit that is all over his
true?
house.
Dude, how is it that like maybe once a week I look into what Ethan Klein's been up to, and every time I manage to find more and more terrible shit. This is where Ethan tells a story about his family getting Giardia.
We already have Mold Mondays. Now we have Shit Saturdays.
Also, this is not
Covering up the text at the bottom, by the way. This was 2 days before I called CPS. So
I mean, much like many other illnesses, it's very, very, very.
It's a very convenient timing at best.
Get the same sicknesses that adults get.
A direct result of these kinds of streams at worst.
Be A-okay. No problem.
I'm leaning towards the latter. I'm really not interrupting anything by talking over her. Her whole personality is boobs and lies. So I'm covering up both of those. You're welcome.
No immune system.
Notice the chat is almost in a complete universal agreement. Call CPS. Call child endangerment. CPS, social services. Bro needs to unironically call CPS. That's that.
I think what I would have loved from this edit, Ethan didn't make it. So I wish the person that did make it put timestamps, because either this shit would have been hours apart, or it would have been seconds, minutes apart. You know, so that whole context would have been nice to get a kind of idea of. But again, it's in your chat, man. Just hire a few people that enjoy your live streams enough, inside or outside of looking at your boobs, to look at the chat. You know, they're not too distracted. Just get them to enforce people writing normal shit. Like, it's not hard. It's not difficult. God damn.
Child endangerment. Okay, if his kids have Giardia, they need to be taken away. Actual worst father ever, etc., etc. I'll let the chat play for you, but you can see just how crazed this community is. And once again, this is Denim's chat from the 1st. The call came on the 3rd.
No wonder his house is covered in dog shit, and his neglected children raised by nannies have contracted parasites previously unknown to science from the feces. I wonder why...
Oh, that's another big one. Is that people say that his kids are raised by nannies and his house is covered in dog shit. But they also call him a bad parent. So, is it the nannies that are fucking him up? Or... because like someone's looking after the kids. So what the point I'm trying to make is people either say Ethan's too involved, he has dog shit all over his house, or Ethan's not involved enough and he has only nannies raising him. Like, pick a side, man. Pick a side. Pick something to complain about. Is it one or is it the other? Pick one.
Skipped over all of this because everything that he said, everything that I said in this story, which by the way was apparently compiled by his crew, playing.
No wonder this motherfucker's always sick. Yeah, it all makes sense now.
By the way, these people can't keep their talking points straight. On one hand, it's
Oh,
we raise our kids and our house is just run by nannies and housekeepers. But on the other hand, we also keep our house so dirty that there's dog shit everywhere. I mean, what are the housekeepers and nannies doing?
It all makes sense now. It makes sense why.
Ethan, the house is so big, man. A multi-million-dollar mansion, dude. God. I wonder if they make like a broom big enough to like get the tops of his walls, you know, because his house is just that massive that she can't clean every inch. You know, the dog shit on the ceiling she can't reach. So of course there's dog shit sitting around because his house is too big.
He doesn't care about Palestinian children when he is neglecting his own. How is this happening? How is it happening? How is this happening?
I have a 10-month-old, a 5-year-old, and a 3-year-old who are in school. Of course I'm sick all the time. Once again, these childless people pretend that this is uncommon when, of course, anybody with any sense who's being honest. The thing is, these people are knowingly lying.
I mean, I don't know, Ethan. I know that the only times I get sick are when I... Can I even say that on YouTube? The only time I get sick is when I look at the toilet like a snack bowl, mama. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm calling cap on that.
They know that they're lying. It makes no sense what they're saying, but they do it anyway.
Oh, real quick. I've seen comments about Ethan's tics. He is diagnosed with Tourette's. A lot of these anti-Ethan Klein people think it's a symptom of, like, you know, him being coked out. No, it's just a neurological condition that makes his body twitch. I mean, it really doesn't help that one of his recent ones, and I think it's still ongoing, is that he's sniffing a bunch. But, like, Ethan's history of Tourette's is, like, long documented, mama. And if you know anything about Tourette's, that shit can switch up. You can go from one thing to another thing. There was a whole YouTube channel back in the day. Maybe it's still around, maybe it's not. I'm not even gonna bother looking it up because there's nothing to it. But it was a channel dedicated to just watching Ethan's eyebrows. So it was just zoomed in on like a bunch of videos of his eyebrows just going crazy. So yeah, my boy has Tourette's, man. I don't know. Please no bully. It's not cocaine. I mean, maybe it's cocaine, but it's not. It's not.
As you can see in the chat, and Denham's endorses this clearly, as you can see.
If it's cocaine, can I have some? No, I'm mentally well adjusted, so I don't need no cocaine.
She's not moderating this at all, and it's pretty much 100% of the comments saying call CPS on them. Their kids should be taken away. That she believes that it's justified to break up our family. This disgusting fucking human being who's endorsed by Hassan and the entire left community on Twitch, who is protected and elevated by Twitch, is on her platform right now advocating for our children to be forcibly removed from us by Child Protective Services. Denham's is such an evil person. She should
Does he talk about Idubbbz
not
in this?
responsible enough to have a platform. She should not be allowed to broadcast videos ever again. Now, you might wonder, what is
So
it you're
yeah, he
referring to?
talks about later on. Does get a bit conspiratorial, but he makes a good case, in my opinion, that Reddit are, just letting this shit happen. Trisha Paytas said a snarks on Reddit. That's what this clip is at the bottom, that you can't see, but it is there, I promise. There you go. That's what this clip at the bottom is, where she talks about how she had a snarks on Reddit. She reported it to Reddit. She found phone numbers for people on Reddit, reported it. It got completely nuked off the internet. Apparently, Ethan's done that and then some, and then it's still just around. So, like, there was the whole Ethan Klein is threatening to sue people on the snarks of Reddit discussion. If Reddit won't do anything about it, I fully do not blame him for taking action himself. If the platform won't do anything about it, I really don't blame him for escalating it to a legal level. I think we have bred a big culture where people feel like they can just say whatever they want on the internet, and have zero consequences. And that's where people like me, the very first rung of the ladder, that's where people like me say, no. But if all these rungs of the ladder keep escalating, it's gonna get to legal soon, sooner than you think. Him and Some Ordinary Gamers, who again is also a man with no spine and balls, are suing Noah Sampson right now for just claiming shit, perpetuating the whole genocidal YouTubers thing. And if you're going to say some stuff like that completely uncontested, he called Chud Logic, who he's pretty hit or miss for me. Sometimes he has good opinions, sometimes he's questionable. But he called that guy a predator and a groomer for talking to an 18-year-old, which, it's. Do I have to spell it out that talking to an 18-year-old should be legal? I think he was like mid-30s at the time. So I will say, if that's true, I'll say what I always say. It's legal, but it's a little weird. But it's legal, so like, what legs do you have? So yeah, people need to be checked. Noah Sampson is going to be checked by somebody, it looks like, very soon. But yeah, we've bred a culture where people just blurt shit out, say whatever the fuck they want. And I don't think we should. I think you should be able to have some kind of consequence behind what you say, especially publicly. If it's like a private message, that's a whole different. It's a whole different thing entirely. But if you're just throwing it out there for the public to see, then fuck yeah, you should be able to be sued for it if you're just saying some wild, slanderous shit. I don't think that's that crazy.
So, on the podcast, I was telling a story about we adopted a new dog about a month ago, and she was having...
there is one part of this that I do want to get to, which is why it's still going for now.
Diarrhea, which ended up being a extremely common stomach parasite that causes diarrhea. It's extremely common, and it's very easy to address. In fact, Ducky, our Yorkie, when we got him as a puppy, also had Giardia, and we treated him the same way. Let's see what I said about it.
I knew a Yorkshire Terrier growing up. Those motherfuckers live forever. I just want to say that. She was like 18, which for a dog is like insane. A lot of dogs can die at like 10, 12, 14, and that can be like a good ass age. A dog being old enough to drink in most parts of the world is fucking nuts. I remember, completely off topic, when I was with my ex, he had a cat, and the cat was older than me, and that really freaked me out. She was like 20, 21, And I was like, how the fuck? So, yeah, these small animals, man, they can live forever.
Olive has Giardia, which is it's a bacterial infection in the intestines that makes you have diarrhea.
And Olive has this?
Olive has this. Yeah, she
Oh.
came to us with it.
Okay.
She had diarrhea, and
Oh, poor baby.
She has the poopies.
Ducky came to us with that too. So she has Giardia, so we have her on an antibiotic, but we had to wait until Monday, which is today. We just got it today. Sonny's crawling around. He's putting everything in his mouth. He's at that age. He has Giardia. Again,
So again, this is like my whole breakdown of what happened. You know, I think I did a pretty good job. Dogs sit on shit. Babies put shit in their mouth. Dogs and babies are weird. That's why I like cats. Cats are cool. But my cat earlier was chasing a wasp around, and I called her a dumb fuck for it. So,
any reasonable person or parent understands that having a 10-month-old that is just learning to crawl, is crawling around everywhere, putting everything in his mouth. I mean, these kids will literally just lick the floor, put anything in the world in their mouth, and that's completely normal. That's what having a toddler is like. Olive is a black Labrador. She sheds a lot. She's inside. She's outside. She's very clean. But the point I'm making, again, which all reasonable people understand, is that Giardia can actually be spread just from a surface. So if her bum ends up on the floor, or she sheds some hair, or she sat on a toy, you know, it could be a number of different things. If Sonny's crawling around putting everything in his mouth, it seems like a pretty reasonable suspect. If he's having diarrhea, we're like, oh man, maybe he got Giardia from Olive, which is actually commonplace to happen. And despite what Denham says, it is not certain death. It's actually completely normal to happen, and it's very easy to treat. Now, spoiler alert, it actually turns out when we got all of the poop tests back that he never had Giardia even.
what? He never had it? He never had? He never had the poopy mouth disease? This was the part that I wanted to get into, because it turns out that everyone's claim of they're eating poop, you know, other than Ethan's word of maybe my baby ate or put something in his mouth that had poop on it. Other than Ethan's word, there was like nothing to go on now. And even then, Ethan's word was, oh, it turns out she doesn't have it. We had a diagnosis.
Which I announced on the show, which they conveniently forget. So the only person that ever even had Giardia was Olive. So Sonny was having diarrhea essentially, and that was and that's why they called CPS, because my 10-month-old baby, who's just starting to eat solid food, had diarrhea.
Couldn't have ended better. Could not have ended that better myself. You know, babies are fucking weird, dude. They're like people that don't know how to people. They say they're like drunk people. Which is true. Babies are fucking weird. His baby was shitting everywhere. Turns out, spoiler alert, you know, I'm a gay man. I don't have kids. But it turns out babies can drop some pretty nasty shits. I don't know if that's news to you, but turns out they're not dropping logs. You know, it is a bit squelchy in the bum region. Spoilers. You know, I don't know if these people thought that you're born with an iron stomach, you could just eat steak when you're born. No, the kids be dropping fucking messy, nasty fucking turds, dude. There's no nice way to put it. Kids are fucking gross. So all that happened. I've skipped ahead actually, because this was Idubbbz and Anissa's response to. I couldn't find the clip. I'm sure if I like piggybacked off somebody else's video and tried to pull it up, that, you know, they'd have done the hard work for me. In short, Ethan and Hila, Ethan's wife, talk about the situation on the podcast, and basically point out that their silence is like loud. The reason these two specifically were brought up is because they've been shown to be pretty close friends with Hassan Piker, who is having a pretty public falling out, disagreement, civil war at this point with Ethan. Not much civil about it, apparently. So yeah, these two were associating with the side that said, you know, Ethan's kids are eating shit. That's so gross, man. And they kind of weren't disavowing it. They weren't saying don't call CPS. They weren't saying Ethan and Hila are great parents, despite how much Ethan and Hila probably shouldn't have associated with these two. I mean, we tried to tell them, man. That's all I'm gonna say. We tried to tell them that they were no good. So it sucks that they found out this way. But yeah, they kind of pointed out how loud the silence was. And I think Hila said something about how Anissa says, like, yeah, we're girls, man. But won't say a single word about how they're not awful parents. So, you know, it fucking sucks. This response did not help at all. I'm gonna get into it.
What we do here is go.
I'm playing the wrong video.
We gotta talk about the Ethan stuff. Sorry.
Okay, so
Wait. Before we do, I just want to like see where Dane's at with this because I want to see how widespread this is. Dane, do you know what we're talking about at all?
no.
Okay. Cool. Okay, so there you go. This is for a very specific subset of people who are very upset at my DMs.
Yeah. So, Ethan's upset with I think some of our connections, and you know we've tried to reach out to Ethan to talk privately. Basically, it just seems like we're at a bit of an impasse. So we want to stay out of the drama as much as possible. We don't want to pile on and add.
Does he have a gold tooth?
So this is our, you know, lukewarm addressing of it.
That motherfucker has a gold tooth?
You know.
We got the fucking Snoop Dogg podcast in this bitch. God damn.
We're always open to talk, privately, especially, and yeah, we'll you know, the door's always open.
Yep.
I think my thing is like he says they're at an impasse, but what impasse is there to be at? You know, normally it's like a agree to disagree type situation. I don't think it's that hard to say these motherfuckers aren't eating poop. You know, it's a bit of a fucking... Sounds like a meme to say. But that's all they had to do. They have a clean house, good parents, not eating poop. That was it. That's all it would have taken. It is not an agree to disagree type situation. Unless they are eating poop. But they weren't. So it's not hard.
Yeah, the door's always open. I want to, like, really drive it home. We don't condone harassment of
We
any
don't
kind.
condone harassment of any kind.
Of any kind. Okay, period. Which is why we have not stuck our foot in any of this, because it is not productive. I don't think it's helpful, and
it's not productive and helpful to say don't call CPS on people. Do I even need to comment on that one? Don't call CPS on my friends. They're good parents. How is that not helpful or productive? As someone that knows the parents involved, I very much think the productivity and helpfulness is in the room with us right now. There it is. Right there. Not here. These two. Not productive or helpful in the slightest. The last time Idubbbz was helpful is when it was fucking saving squirrels' lives, bitch.
And these are real people who have real feelings.
I think I want to pivot this into something that I don't think I didn't touch on it in my apology video many years
The infamous apology video.
ago. Was it many
He does
years
have a
ago?
gold tooth.
1 year ago.
A few.
Yeah. I think in that video there was I had a lot of feelings, and like I think the most obvious one that and message that like made the most sense to people was me apologizing for slurs and just being generally insensitive to minority groups and people in general.
Nothing wrong with that. You're not going to catch me disagreeing with that. You know, we can start as pretty immature kids, apparently 29-year-old kids, and just throw terms around. But yeah, the slurs, you know, as a minority, or as someone who's part of a minority group myself, as being a gay man, you know, slurs can and do affect people. So you are not going to catch me criticizing Idubbbz for apologizing about saying the N-word, the F-word. You know, it was his catchphrase for a time. But yeah, I do respect that there's that growth there. So again, I'm not going to call him spineless for apologizing for hurting minority groups. You know, it is punching down. It is a low blow. Humor's subjective, but it's not very funny, I don't think. So yeah, I'm not going to criticize him for growing at all.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that I maybe should have added to that, but I think it was kind of like implied if you're really like looking for it, is the harassment. I think harassment online is like, you know, we felt it. We felt plenty of it.
Yeah.
And you know, that's kind of why there's been a shift in my content, is because it's not fucking healthy for people's brains, and it like doesn't get you anywhere. Like I would make, you know, a couple videos, the content cop and the content deputy, and then I would say, okay, I'm done, I'm out of here, let me leave this.
Yeah.
And it was done for me. For me, it was done. It was not done for the people who watched my videos. It was not done for the person who was being harassed.
And that's where he loses me. You saw the catalogue of content cut videos at the start. I mean, I've still got it open here. Some of these people were rightfully criticised. Like, I don't know that many people are going to say that calling out Rise Scum or Keemstar was like a bad thing to do. Because those motherfuckers deserved it, man. They deserved it, man. If they're being harassed, actions have consequences. You know, consequences will never be the same. If you're a dick online, people are going to treat you like you're a dick online. Newsflash. So yeah, I don't think it's necessarily harassment to say, yo, you're a bit of a dick, when you're being a dick.
And I think that is a very like important thing to note, is I was living like kind of a different reality.
Yeah.
And it would shock me. You know, it would shock me when I'd meet people in public and they'd say, oh, I loved your Tana content cop. That bitch deserved everything that she got.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
really
holy fuck.
It was intense.
Like, there was a lot of that energy, and I'm like, man.
I think what that comes off as to me is him not being genuine in those videos. Like, it almost strikes me as I'll criticize this person till the cows come home, but actually I want to be best friends. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too, my dude. You know, if you're going to call somebody out, if I'm going to call you out, Ian Idubbbz, I'm not going to get into a DM with you and be like, yo, man, you're kind of cool, you're kind of awesome. No, like, I've said it before in streams, if you're going to say some shit, just say it with your chest, you know? I think that's where a lot of these people slip up. Like, there's a lot of half saying things. If you're going to say something, mean it. You know, opinions can change, thoughts can change, but if you make a video picking apart every single reason why someone's problematic and should be cancelled. And then someone says, yo, that was a good video. Every single point, banger. And you to be like, whoa. You know, just be consistent. Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. Puff it up. Just say it. Say it right here.
And this is beyond. People didn't have a laugh and then went back to their normal life. There's a lot of people who held on to that and had different motives and different goals that maybe didn't align with me.
And you can make that same argument about Snarkers, who saw one thing about Ethan or Trisha or Taylor Swift or whoever the fuck that they didn't like, and then turn that into a damn near, I was going to say second job, a damn near first job for some of these motherfuckers, you know? It's just not hard to have a life. Be normal. Be normal, guys. Just treat everyone how you want to be treated. And be normal. That's what we learned at school as kids. Just treat everyone nice. Be nice to everybody. Have peace and love in your heart.
They also wanted more.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Like more. There is this growing...
God forbid. Okay. I'll hear her out.
Movement online of trying to make the puppet that people are focused on right now dance. The way that they want the puppet to dance.
Okay, so she said nothing. God forbid that you make really good, groundbreaking videos calling people out, and then people want more of those. Because the internet is full of a lot of bad people. More calling out of bad people is A-OK in my book. Exhibit A. So yeah, why would you not want more of that? I mean, your fucking stupid slippers.
And they use a lot of different ways in order to do that, online and offline resources, and it's very dangerous. And I think for me, when I really started to be like, okay, I really don't want to be a part of this, was I hate bringing it up, but Etika. The Etika stuff was so hard for me, right? Like, that was somebody who clearly was experiencing a mental health issue.
Eticat was a YouTuber. He did a lot of like Nintendo content. As she says, he had a really bad mental state. Ended up kind of doing the worst case scenario with people with a bad mental state to himself. Didn't hurt anyone else, thankfully. But, you know, the whole thing was really sad. A lot of people are still upset by it because, you know, they lost their favourite YouTuber. They lost, you know, what they'd do when they were getting home from work. And that sucks, but it's the relevancy in the room with us.
And the last thing that they needed, and this is my attitude, like, full stop on this period. The last thing somebody who's going through something like that needs is more eyes on it. And more, like, people weighing in, right? And, like, that's why I'm kind of angry that we even have to, like, talk about it here.
Okay, so she is trying to relate Etika publicly having severe mental health problems that led to, you know, his early passing, unfortunately. She's trying to relate that to what's going on right now. In short, making the point that Ethan's having a crisis right now. Why would I say he's a good parent when he's clearly going through it? News flash. We're on that. BBC, ITV, CNN, Fox, shit. You are part of the reason he's going through it. It's not hard to see some crazy shit and call it out as crazy shit. It's not. You know, you could have helped him so much by just saying, guys, Ethan and I aren't... You don't even have to be best friends with the dude. Just say you've been to his house, you've met their kids, they're good parents, they have a clean house. It's disproportional disproportionate. One of them, Ethan wanted them to come out and say, they're good parents, and they sound like they were asked to climb Everest. Like, you weren't. Make a statement. Make a story. That should be gone in 24 hours. You don't need to make a whole YouTube video. You don't need to make a whole live stream. You don't need to make a whole content cop. Just make a story saying Ethan's a good dude, good parent. I'm going around in circles, but these motherfuckers are like, they're making it so hard when all they had to do was so simple. That's all I can say.
Is that, like, whether or not people who are in it right now realize it on any side, the more people who weigh in, the more people who add to the conversation, the more people who amplify it, the worse that it gets.
But how can it get worse if you're supporting a guy that's really going through it mentally? Again, if you want to use the Etika example, one of the last things that he notably did was do an Instagram live stream where he was locked in his house. The police showed up. He was clearly going through some kind of crisis. People were saying, like, crazy shit. I mean, that was a small minority. You did get a lot of people come out, be really supportive. What harm could it have done to Etika for people to say, Etika, you are so valuable to us, to me, you really make my day. What is bad about support? You could have someone in the absolute fucking trenches mental health wise, but you saying, yo dude, I like your company, I like you as a person. How is that going to harm him in any way? They're going to say, oh, well, someone else has added to this conversation, I can't take this shit anymore. No, they'll say, thanks. Even if they don't mean it, like, even if it doesn't hit deep in their heart, what harm can support do? The way she's phrasing it is that them speaking up would have been, yo, them kids ate that poo, dude. When, like, if it was that, say that. But if it's not, then I think you do have an obligation when one of your closer friends is being called out online for being this horrible parent. I think you do have some kind of obligation to say, no, they're not.
We were in it, and at the time when we were in it and we wanted...
She's referring to us kind of going through a fucking hard time on the internet, being harassed, videos made about us, people weighing in.
People still make videos about us, and at the time...
Because you're still awful? Like, I'm sorry, I don't know how to better say it. It's not even that people want the old Idubbbz back, people just want Idubbbz to be just a fucking normal guy. They want him to have joy again. The dude makes videos and seems like he'd rather be anywhere else. That's the reason they make videos, is because you guys are shells, you're performative. Anissa especially, I would argue, is much more problematic than Ian because of the flip-flopping, saying that she needs to be on a leash, making fun of people with eating disorders. I could go on and on and on. They have a history, they have a past. People grow, people change, I get that. But just be fucking normal. I don't think it's that hard to see someone that you care about supposedly going through a hard time and supporting him. I don't know why they're making it seem hard when it's really not.
Time before, like, we got help, before we went to therapy, like, yes, there was this attitude of, like, why the fuck aren't people saying things?
Mm-hmm.
Why the fuck is no one, like, saying how wrong this is. Like, of course we had anger about that, but like we had to, now that we've gone to therapy and we've worked through all these things, like, one, the videos have not stopped.
Hear me out. Why could you not have said how wrong it was? If you're really sincerely being slandered online and it's making you have this horrible reputation, just say no, that's wrong. It's one thing to say, why didn't anyone speak up? Why don't you speak up, motherfucker? You know? If someone's slandering you, you have every right in the world. I don't care how small the fucking post is, the content creator, you have every right in the world to say, this is just not true. If you're really being slandered like you say you are, then at least put up a defense. I'm not saying you have to look at every single Reddit post or whatever the fuck, but if something comes to your attention and you disagree with it, what good is it getting angry at other people for not doing anything about it when you won't? And I think I get that what she's saying from it is that the therapy helped her like drop a lot of that anger. But like, I don't know, that is a good chunk of the reason why they're in the situation they're in. It's just it's a fucking free for all. But their actions really do not help. A lot of the videos that put out there, people aren't saying they're slanderous because they're just hitting every single nail on the head. If you disagree with it, come out and say that.
Right. The comments about us.
If
have
you
not
disagree,
stopped.
just say that.
What has stopped is me caring about it, me looking at it, and when you get the help, and you realize that this is like something that you cannot control at all, and it doesn't have to affect your life, that's the only way it gets better.
Yeah.
Things piling on, things adding to it, people weighing in, people throwing punches for you, does not help. And I'm at the point now, thankfully, with the combination of like...
Again, I'm just struggling to see how support is a bad thing. I think what she's trying to say is that it like perpetuates it. But would you rather have support, or would you rather just let the other side win and say, no one's coming out and defending it, so we've got to be clearly fucking right. Their mental is so skewed, which is ironic because they're talking about going to therapy.
The support systems that I have, my friends that I have, everything, like, I'm not worried about saying this online.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure people will take it and talk about it. I'm proud of what I'm saying right now. And the people who get it will get it, and the people who think that I'm a bad person for that will think I'm a bad person. And I'm okay with that because I don't believe that I'm a bad person. And I think that's a very strong tool. And I hope to God that the people who are really drowning right now, okay, whoever you want to, in your head, whoever's listening to this, whoever you think is drowning right now, I hope to God that they get the help that they deserve.
But they're asking for your help. Again, it's a big, massive, huge, fat case of having your cake and eating it too. You can't say, oh, everyone deserves the help that they should get when they're fucking drowning in this shit. They're fucking begging for help. They're begging for one person to come out and say, these are good parents. You're not perpetuating negativity by spreading positivity. That doesn't make any fucking sense at all. What are you talking about, man? I'm done with you.
Stop hurting them.
I'm done with you. I'm done with you. Content cup time, motherfuckers. I haven't seen this. a lot of my streaming is just a bit of a big guessing game about if things will be good, because I want my reactions to be as genuine, and you know, I want to react in real time with you guys. A lot of it is a guessing game. I see certain shit and I just know it's going to be a pile of shit, or I get a vibe. Look at the whole Paige Christie live stream #1. You know, there are certain videos I see them and I'm like, they're going to be a pile of fucking ass. The Jimmy Robbins one, you know, that was during my whole throat infection. Jimmy Robbins made one. Would have loved to stream it, kind of fucking talk. You know, being awake hurt. But I would have loved to talk about it, because that was another one where I saw his now deleted video and thought, this is not going to be good. I really liked and enjoyed Jimmy Robbins' content before that. He's called out some really questionable people. I thought researched really well. So seeing that video, it was a big fucking letdown. Completely unsubscribed from the dude, because like, how can I trust him now? You know. So yeah, a lot of this video stuff is just a vibe check from me. This video is one that has also failed the vibe check. You know, Ethan Klein's a hot topic right now. No Shaquille O'Neal. No, that's Forever 21, I think. Fuck. Yeah, it's one of them. But yeah, he's a hot topic right now. And yeah, you can just tell when something's going to be ass. Will I be right? Will I be wrong? You know, I come into every video with an open mind. If Ian is... If this is just a banger, Ethan Klein is awful, I'm open to that. You know, my expectations are very, very rock bottom low. But if he has some good, well-researched points, where I can point to him and say, huh, you're probably right, then yeah, I'm going to give him his flowers, but I'm not expecting to do so. Very open to being surprised.
Themselves and stop hurting other people.
Oh.
The peach is surprisingly dangerous. Consider the
fucking thing in our defense, like, actually, Hila's not a baby killer. Actually, accusing Ethan of killing his dog is maybe too far, because they have mobilized such an insane harassment group that anybody who says any fucking thing, they will attempt to ruin their lives. And once again, I'm the crazy one. It's not bad enough that I have this group of people.
What we do here is go back.
Wait, how could you watch that clip and think content cut? I mean, that live stream we just watched is from like a month ago. The Idubbbz and Anissa one. So this video is at its oldest a month old. It does feel thrown together so far. Why has he still got that gold tooth, man? It's a fucking awful look. He looks like a crackhead. Ian training for the boxing fight that he doesn't have. Nice house.
What's up, everybody? I'm Hassan Piker, and this is the Hassan broadcast coming to you live from a cloudy day here in California, Los Angeles. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. I have
Why
a
is the
very
chat in
important
Times New Roman?
announcement. I've finally done it. I watched Ethan Klein's content nuke, and I'm not going to call it context puke as I normally do because the reality of the matter is it was brilliant. Nothing was out of context. Everything was correct. I am an Islamist, fundamentalist, radical terrorist. I am a vicious anti-Semite. It's true.
At least he said it.
Most importantly, Ethan is more attractive than me both physically and also mentally. I've been lying about everything, including my glasses. They're fake. He was right about that. That's not even in the content nuke. And he was right about that too. How did he know everything? How? Wake up, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Ethan, wake up.
Wakey, wakey, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Wake up. Time to be awake, Ethan.
Wake up, Ethan.
This is no longer a dream. This is a nightmare. Wake up.
Ethan, the dumb bitch is telling you to wake up.
Wake up. Ethan, wake up. Wake up, Ethan. Ethan, wake up. Wake up. Since anyone? Just wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up. Wake up, Ethan.
What the fuck am I watching? Like, actually, genuinely?
I'm not gonna do a react
Am I on fucking acid?
content yet.
Is this real? Am I streaming? Am I live? Am I awake? What is going on? Where am I?
Chat.
I'm the same. Nobody's telling you to wake up, Ethan.
Yummy, I love Sabra hummus.
Wake up, Ethan. Wake up.
Ethan.
Okay, hummus is actually fire, though. For real, hummus fire. Oh, my brain has been rotted already. But I do like some good hummus. Put that bitch on a fucking pita bread with some, some gyros. Gyros. Never know how to say it. That bitch good as a motherfucker. Put some fries on there. Greek style, motherfucker, baby. I love that that was just a bunch of the worst people on Twitch in a room. And some random other guy. I had no idea who that was. Am I supposed to know? I don't know. I mean, Frogan was there. Averages like 300 viewers. Rising Star Award twice. Or nominee twice. Won once. You know, if you don't win the first one, you got to win the second one at the Friendship Awards.
All right. I didn't plan on making a content cop on H3. It sounds very stupid even saying that. H3 content cop, Idubbbz. Ethan Klein's out of control. And then you should do a content cop on Hassan Piker. Content cop on Sargon of Akkad. If I would imagine this in 2016, I would have been like, oh yeah, if I ever do that, it's gotta be because I lose the plot. Well, it turns out it's not me losing.
It turns out you did. It turns out you were right. Fuck. First time in years.
Plot. It's Ethan. He's the one who fucking attacked first.
My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree.
All right, guys, I'm going to tell you a story about Ethan Klein. I know some of you have been following him, but there's a lot of people who might not be familiar with the background, with his podcast, with what's been going on over the past couple of years. So Ethan, as you know, is a content creator who has a podcast where he says all sorts of outrageous stuff. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's fucked up. He's had shows with all sorts of different controversial characters. He's had a show with Trisha Paytas. He's had a show with Hassan Piker. In doing so, he's gathered a ton of different audiences. Now, in his podcast with Hassan, Leftovers, they would mostly talk about surface level progressive shit and make fun of right wingers.
And you're telling me he didn't?
I mean, I watched it. It wasn't frenemies, but like nothing else will be. Yeah, I mean, politics, man. I just don't find it interesting. I don't. Like, I watched it, but it was a bit of a fucking dark era. It was the dark ages of that podcast.
Flick their dick once at least?
Oh, that's 100 shavers, you trans women. I say, oh no!
And it was mostly that until they actually had to reckon with a very serious topic. I would say that Hassan was very well equipped to talk about that topic.
Palestinian people living in the West Bank are subject to these horrific conditions, horrific living conditions by the state of Israel, America's greatest ally and the only democracy in the Middle East, if you ask Republicans and even liberals.
Well, the dancing invented was so kick-ass.
Israeli settlers are trying to evict Palestinian families in occupied...
I guess in 2019, Ethan didn't care about Israel. As someone that's lived there and has an Israeli wife, Ethan Klein. Israeli issues. What are those, man? I'm just American. I live in California. Like, just because he's not screaming it from the rooftops doesn't mean he doesn't fucking, not care. Yeah.
By East Jerusalem, the United Nations says that may be a war crime. It literally is.
It's just eating the toppings. And the pizza looked like a burn victim. It was all disgusting.
I don't know if you can make that joke in 2021.
This is a weak ass point, man. I think in that podcast, Hassan endorsed some. Clearly, I don't know the ins and outs. But there was a big disagreement. So Ethan's not fully fucking ignorant about the whole conflict. If he knows enough to hear one of Hassan's opinions and think it's problematic, I think the man is educated on Israel-Palestine issues. I don't know, man.
Sensitive to burn.
I think that's a good analogy. It's a powerful image.
Ethan was not prepared for this. Ethan, the whole time, is more of the goof guy. And that's fine, we don't expect Ethan to be an expert on the topic. Ethan was obviously caught in this tricky situation where he is extremely sympathetic to the Israeli cause and what's happening to them. His wife's Israeli, she served in the IDF. He obviously likes the state of Israel. On the other hand, he's just got done capturing a massive progressive audience who are very politically savvy. They follow Hassan. Hassan is strictly a political streamer, so this is something they're very keyed into.
I'm curious what credibility Idubbbz has to be able to say that Hassan's very politically literate. I don't doubt that the man knows about politics, but that does not mean the man has the right opinions. Interviewing a terrorist, for starters, completely butchering that, calling him the Anne Frank of fucking Yemen, the man's a bit... He's kind of like Idubbbz after losing 2 boxing matches. The man's got a bit too much brain damage for me to really take seriously.
So when they see Ethan say things that are just not accurate and it's just propaganda, they're gonna call it out.
From the river to the sea essentially means the state of Israel is going bye-bye.
So this massive progressive audience that Ethan has, adopted over the years, they're becoming increasingly critical of his position because now he's talking about it not on Leftovers, he's now talking about it on his podcast.
What I want to do is show you guys how I see Israel, because you don't see that. When you listen to Hassan and you hear all these fucking mega lefties talking about it like it's some super racist, crazy, Jim Crow style of society. I can't wait to show you guys.
The other day, Bibi fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed about.
So Ethan is having this...
They did go back and retract that. So if we're going to use things like that against them, then maybe I shouldn't take a word that you've changed at all. And that you're still racist, homophobic, xenophobic. If we can't take people's words that they've changed, they've looked into things, they've learned, then why are you here? Why is your career taking a nosedive for me to not believe you in the first place? Like, I don't know, man. Cake and eat it. Same amount of points as a circle.
Back and forth with his liberal audience, leftist people online, progressive content creators, Hassan, all of these different people. He's finding new people every day, basically, to get in fights with.
Of all people, this guy, Matt Lieb, Frogan and Denims and all these dipshits, and everybody thinks this guy's awesome, apparently. Even though he looks like Millhouse, fucking dork.
Denims, by the way, was the real villain of the video. Evil, hateful, fucking. And I'll say it, and I'll double down on it. And people, oh no, did I not go there.
And it's.
But he's right. All those people do fucking suck. Isn't that what we champion, Idubbbz? Is calling out people that suck. I mean, apparently we're watching a video right now calling out people that suck.
All culminate.
So maybe you're problematic for disagreeing with people. You're disagreeing with shitty people, calling people shitty on the internet. Maybe you're problematic. You're getting fights with everyone, dude. That must mean you're in the wrong for disagreeing.
At least for my story. In Ethan burning bridges with people until he burned the bridge with me. Since Ethan and Hassan's falling out, I've been keeping to myself mostly. I don't have many nice things to say. Maybe.
No, you've not kept to yourself. You've not. Team sports politics is very fucking cringe to me. I think you should just find the politician that aligns most with you. It's a goddamn miracle if you agree with every single point that a politician makes. I think people just wanted you to do what you've always done throughout your career and call some shit out when it's not right. If Hassan's being crazy, if Ethan's being crazy, just have a stance. It's not even pick a side, just have an opinion. Like, people are seeing you as this frail fucking 1,000-yard stare motherfucker. This haircut does not help, by the way. Just have an opinion about anything, ever. You're trying so hard to play it so safe that, like, you're not even a human anymore. You're just like... I don't even know a good fucking YouTuber to compare you to, because there aren't many that just don't have opinions. You're like a text-to-speech fucking... You're one of those TikTok videos where it's, I went to the store and I found a grape. That is your YouTube career right now. You're AI. You're not a human. There's not a human thought behind those eyes. That is people's problem with you. Like, you don't have a stance on anything. You don't have morals. You're a fucking dandelion, dude. Just fucking blown around. Like, there's a free spirit, and then there's just, like, a plant. You're just a plant. Because you don't have a spirit.
Maybe if Ethan's able to get some help.
Maybe if you had some spirits in you, you'd finally fucking get an opinion.
He stops harassing other creators.
Drink some Jack Daniels. Fucking, I don't know. Drink some Jack Daniels. Have a brainwave.
Maybe if he does these things, eventually he'll find peace, and we can, like, rekindle our friendship. So that's been my approach. I've occasionally thrown a joke Ethan's way in the form of Hassan Piker versus Ethan Klein for boxing.
I like Idubbbz. He's a good guy, but I don't like this tweet. It's stupid. It's not a fucking petty beef. It's like, this guy is evil and he's doing anti-Semitism. And also, he's way out of my weight class.
He didn't like that, but fucking sometimes you gotta just throw something out there.
I mean... I think it's a somewhat funny tweet. I'm not... but again, you're supposed to be friends with these people, so I think it definitely does hit very fucking close to home. Especially during this crazy turbulent time. So, like, as these people's friends, should you have tweeted that? Probably not. Because again, it just kind of shows that, like, no principles type thing, where you put one thing out online, feel a different way. You know, it sucks. Say it with your chest.
I used to work with this video editor named Froggy Tonic.
He only fucking sucks. By the way, I'm praying he shows some of the tweets, because I would really like to see him try to defend this one. And this was something else that I completely even forgot about, where he's directly associated with Idubbbz, right? And Idubbbz still said nothing. And he's going to make the argument that just because he works with somebody doesn't mean that he endorses everything they say, and that, you know, they're not one and the same. If you're associated with this person, the least you can do is just disagree and not co-sign everything they say by saying absolutely fucking nothing. Okay?
Discovered him because he was in the circles online that I was in. And one of those circles...
I hope he
is
shows his
an
Creator
H3
Clash
fan. He
fit,
watched
by the way.
Ethan's content. He liked Ethan's content until he didn't like Ethan's content. There would be an occasional froggy tweet where I'd be like, I agree with that, you know? Like, I'm not going to endorse it. I'm not going to retweet it or like it, but fair enough.
I guess I just missed my old friend. Some wings are too bird feathered colored.
Now that brings us to February 28th
Hold on.
of this year.
I want to see if I can find this man's fit. Yeah, this is what this man wore to create Clash. The boy's got the same fucking eyes. Just nothing there. No soul. Like, I'm not a man of very much faith, but find Jesus, man. Because you need something going on.
Now, my former editor of a year and a half ago did say some truly mean shit. He called Hila the C word. He said they're trying to kill their dog with cheddar cheese and a bunch of other shit, I'm sure. Ethan, at some point, discovers that Idubbbz' former editor says this horrendous shit about him and Hila. But no one's asking the question, where does Ethan get this information from? You see, it would be very obviously a problem if Ethan was discovering this content by scrolling through Twitter looking for something to upset himself with. He has maybe set it up in such a way where his employees feel the need to send him this information. And that
God, that gold tooth looks so fucking bad. I can't get
would
over
be
it.
horrible. They shouldn't be
Dr. Mike should have fucking knocked that shit out of his head.
doing that. They should be sending you things that are entertaining for your show that don't fucking trigger the hell out of you. Why is there so much work being put into discovering this guy on Twitter who's barely getting any interactions, linking...
Creator Clash 2's editor, by the way. Creator Clash 2 was not long ago. And if we're paying editors for it, then I think we should at least be paying charity for it. But I guess that wasn't the case now, was it, Ian?
to me and posting on the Reddit when there's no work being put into who the fuck is the person on the Reddit who's posting this in the first place. If you do a little bit of research, it seems like it's an account whose intention is to make Ethan crash out. One of the users on the Snark Reddit points this out. They're like, I've seen this account before. This account has scraped its history and it's now trying to make Ethan burn bridges. This is within Ethan's own community.
Okay, but is he lying, though? Is he lying, though? I'd like to see the lie. If he's making up tweets, then I'd like to, you know, see proof of that. But it seems like all he's posting is receipts. And all you're posting is a fucking tumbleweed. Tumbleweed, bitch. Creator Clash 2's editor. Again, not long ago. You fumbled that charity bag not very long ago. Creator Clash 3 is going to go great, I am sure. So the least you can do is just disavow, disapprove. If he's saying some mean things on Twitter and you're so closely associated with him, you're not the same person, but you're close enough online for your opinion to matter about that shit.
Like, this is the thing that he needs to be critical of. It's not me. So yes, I am willing to admit that my former editor was being very nasty, uncharitable, and fucked up towards Ethan and Hila on Twitter.
That is a cursed pause. Too little too late, though, fucker. That's the point. That's the point. That's the point of all of this. Okay, if you say in this video, Ethan's dog didn't poo in the baby's mouth, it's all well and good saying that now. Once the fucking discussion's quietened down, where was that shit a month ago? Fucking spineless prick. I
But
can't.
Ethan and Hila are doing the same shit on their podcast. So I don't want to fucking hear it.
Terrorist supporter.
The CEO of Twitch.
Pedophile.
Now I'm going to watch and respond to the 2 podcast streams where Ethan and Hila call us spineless.
What's his name? Dan Clancy. I've yet to see proof that he's a pedo. I don't think... In the content nuke, Ethan didn't call him a pedo. So I don't know the context of that other clip. But he is a fucking creep. He is a creep, though. And people like your buddy Hassan and people like Dan Clancy is why... No, Dan Clancy's the motherfucker from... Isn't that the motherfucker from SpongeBob? The Twitch guy, not Mr. Krabs, is the reason I'm not on Twitch. And Hassan and Frogan and all of these motherfuckers that suck. Twitch is a dead platform because it's horribly mismanaged. Hassan Piker's whole career being Exhibit A. So I'm not going to feel bad for a billionaire getting his feelings hurt. Is he a pedo? I don't think so. Did Ethan call him a pedo? That was a 1-second clip. So it's hard to fucking say.
Cowards?
Anyway, this guy was saying shit like that Hila's a Nazi, that she kills kids, that she went on like she's a IDF baby killer, all this types of shit, and that's showing up right up on us Nisa's and Idubbbz feed. My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up. You know why? Because they'll get murdered.
You don't know what's on my feed. What the fuck is happening? For all you know, I only use the For You tab. For all you know, I only use lists. For all you know, I'm seeing these things tweeted out by my editor of a year and a half ago and saying, God, that is nasty.
I mean, he's fucking right, though. It's just a lack of spine that causes the fucking world's loudest silence with your whole fucking career recently. Like, I'm surprised you can sit up straight. I'm surprised you can fucking run around and you cringy little intro. Because you should be fucking folded like a deck chair, like an accordion, motherfucker.
I'm just not
Like a fucking piece of well-cooked spaghetti. With that no spine having ass.
Throw someone away because they're having a parasocial weird moment. Just like I'm not going to throw Ethan Klein away because he's having a parasocial weird crash out.
How many women I fucked? Hassan, by the way, thousands.
What's parasocial, though, about seeing someone that one of your closer friends associates with online completely slandering you and your wife and your friend saying nothing and being offended by that? I don't think that's very parasocial at all. Like, does Idubbbz know what the word parasocial means? Parasocial is like the guy right now that has been trying to marry Pokimane. That's parasocial. He doesn't know her. He knows you, motherfucker. And he knows that you're seeing some shit and not saying anything. Okay? Like, even an unfollow, like anything would have... Anything at all. It's the absolute zero action about anything. That's why you're here. That's why your career looks like the way it is. That's why this is the only relevant video you've had in several years. Okay, that's why your career's in the dog shit state it's in.
Yeah, thousands. Let me ask Galia. These shoes do not go. I'm sorry. Oh my god. Hassan's the type of dude who watches himself in the mirror when he has sex.
Watching me on a 30-second delay on your stream.
Wait, how does he know I'm watching already?
Because you've been talking about it for the last 5 minutes.
It's not a fucking petty beef. It's like, this guy is evil and he's doing anti-Semitism. These shoes do not go. I'm sorry.
There are many people, I'm sure, who have unfollowed you for the things that you've said and done, and I'm sure there are even more people who have stayed following you because they don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. They don't want to throw someone away because they've had some hard moments. We're all fucking human.
My good fuck.
I mean, what's the opposite of throwing the baby out with the bathwater? I'm not subscribed to Ethan Klein. I don't watch the podcast, but I see some shit that happens to him, and I need to, look at it, defend it. What's the opposite of that? Do I think he should be talking about Hassan and all the snarkers and everything all the time? No. Do I think he is? No. I'd hope not, because that show wouldn't be very entertaining. But I do think he's got every right to, especially when he feels so wronged, and especially when all the receipts and all the evidence suggests that he has been so wronged. Like, Hassan's a fuck, Frogan's a fuck, Destiny's a fuck, who they tried to lump in with the whole thing. Denim's a fuck. Is there anyone else I'm not thinking of? I'm Alex is a fuck. Keemstar's a fuck. Those last three have nothing to do with it. Or the last two have nothing to do with it. But they're fucks.
Fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up. You know why? Because they'll get murdered.
And what you're saying to me is that I'm a bad friend and I'm a piece of shit. I'm spineless. I'm cowardly because I am following someone on Twitter.
Because they have mobilized such
yes
an insane harassment group. It's not bad enough that I have this group of people harassing me and everyone in my life. It's that people outside of this group, journalists, creators, are actively participating in this gaslighting to make it seem like I'm fucking crazy.
I mean, I don't know what he's getting at here. Like, yeah, people are gaslighting you. A lot of people gaslit me when I apologized. That was actually...
But your apology was fucking stupid. That's the difference. You disavowed every video that you've ever made, ever, of all time. You said you didn't like the way that your fans were, and then your content had this fucking castrato type vibe. Like, it was, you neutered yourself, and the shit that you've put out since has not been good. It has not. So, I am shocked that you've lost a good chunk of an audience. I'm absolutely floored after all that. Like, how could that even... I can't even perceive a world where you disavow all your content and then make shit and people don't like that. I can't believe it.
Actually, like, the #1 type of harassment I got was people gaslighting me and taking my newfound woke ideology to its extreme.
I've probably done and stood by Idubbbz and Anissa more than anybody. I've stood by them when all the internet hated them.
I don't like that Ethan brought this up because it makes the relationship feel very transactional.
No. Like, maybe to you, you won't often hear me say this, but your opinion's wrong. Let me think of some perfect examples. My colleague was... He had the day off today. Did I do that work because I felt like, oh, he'll owe me next time? No, I did it because it's just my fucking job. It's what I do. I have friends. They're good to me. I'm good to them. It's not transactional. It's a you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type thing. It's not a I was good to you, so you need to fucking, again, climb Everest. No, it's just to be a decent human, which is someone who's learned empathy at 30. I would think that should come quite naturally, but apparently that empathy is still either in the learning phase or has not been learned. And the biggest gaslighter in this situation is you for telling us that you've changed.
Like, we're just meant to...
You have changed in the way that World War One changed soldiers. Like, you really got that PTSD type shit now. You got that shell shock. And it's crazy, and it's sad, and it's tragic. But now you're grandstanding, and I don't like that.
So,
like, your whole career,
support
I'll play for a second before I keep going, is it's done. Your whole career is shell-shocked. Like, it's gone, dude. You can bring it back by being a decent human, but people don't like following bad people, normally. So I would love to see like a demographic of your subscribers and see like what the deal is with them. I think a lot of people that are subscribed to you just forgot to unsubscribe because you upload so rarely and your videos get so little views that you don't even show up in algorithms anymore. It was really a fucking self-sabotage career. And that's crazy. I look at your situation and I feel sorry for you. I do. Like, you were someone that had it so good, tried to change for the better, and then lost everything. You know, as someone that has empathy at 26, I feel bad for that. That's about all I feel bad about, because you've earned it, you've deserved it with everything that's come after. In the words of famous poet, lyricist, and scholar Jojo Siwa, karma's a bitch. Bitch.
Each other online despite our own personal morals or principles.
But I'll say this, I don't think they're fucking any friends of mine. And certainly I don't think they're any fucking friends of mine based on the text conversation I had with them too before I even talked about it. So I have nothing. I don't need any fucking halfway friends, man.
I thought the text conversation that I had with him was very empathetic. I basically just said, like, I know you and Hila are experiencing a ton of harassment, and I essentially empathize with that, and I think
there's that empathy that he learned at 30.
Something positive to get out of the conversation. But he refused to talk on the phone unless I was willing to publicly say something about my former editor and denims.
I mean, you are a fucking halfway fair weather friend though. For that. Someone who fucking stuck his reputation on the line so much to fucking put your shit on and hear you talk about your fucking fraudulent Creator Clash 2. You know, because the IRS thought it was fraudulent. That's how much money it lost. You know, they put their necks on the line talking about that shit. Like, yeah, it's the bare fucking minimum. I'm sorry. Your friendship wasn't transactional because you just shoplifted that shit. You gave nothing in return. So how can it be transactional? You know, it wasn't a I give you this, you give me that. It was a I give you this. ... Crazy.
As much as you don't want halfway friends, I also don't want that kind of halfway friend. I don't want someone who's going to give me like an ultimatum to have a conversation.
Could you not say something when this is like, imagine like one of you guys is like, Hassan actually wants to go to Israel, go to Gaza so he can strangle Israeli babies or some shit like that. Like, you imagine me not saying something.
Because the silence in situations like that is essentially co-signing. So, like, where's the lie? Where's the point not being made? It's there. Just like you in your close circle, not even close circle, you in your circle, people you know, friends with Hassan, had an editor on Creator Clash, apparently teamed up with a bunch of Hassan and his buddies and his groupies, his fucking dick riders for the start of the video. Where were you when all of them were making points about Ethan that were just wrong and slanderous and fraudulent? You know, when Hassan's playing videos of a dude on his channel, Bad Empanada, who played a video game where he was a Palestinian terrorist who was shooting Israeli people, and he said that he was looking for Ethan's wife. You know, where are you in situations like that? Because this is the camp that you're associated with now. Like, it's not a case of politics for me, it's a case of just being a good person. If your friends associate with people that say they want to kill your friend's wife, then I don't know what the fuck to tell you, dude. You're just far gone. That empathy that you said that you've learned, you know, that was a fucking lie. So what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you actually fucking boggle the mind.
You're trying to make a one-to-one comparison where there isn't one. This guy that I follow on Twitter is not in the same relationship as you and one of your current employees who is streaming with you 3 days a week, 3 hours a day for the past 10 years. At one point during the stream, Ethan and Hila bring up Adam McIntyre. Now, Adam does basically the same thing as my former editor. He's critical of Ethan and Hila, and he is sometimes uncharitable and nasty towards them.
Adam McIntyre needs to...
There's uncharitable, and then there's slanderous. And that's what these motherfuckers need to learn.
to just like disappear. That guy is a piece of shit, like of the lowest order. I never even stood by him when he talked bad about Trisha having a kid and called him like the spawn of Satan. He was supposedly on our side. I would never even co-sign that. I was disgusted by that statement too. I remember when he called her kid the spawn of Satan.
I never said anything
And
like
I was
that.
supposed to be like cheering on, but I wasn't gonna cheer that on. That's
Why do we
disgusting.
forget that?
And that's called standing on business, my friend. You see something that you don't like, and you don't like it, no matter who the fuck said it. That's called standing on business. And what people like Idubbbz do is they see things they don't like from people that they do like, and they just ignore it and pretend it didn't happen, and then make a whole content cup about the people that reacted to it in the first place.
He called her children, which is something we would never do, the spawn
Never.
of Satan.
It's disgusting.
And
a
I
piece
mean,
of shit of a human.
it's just incredible who ends up being the good guys in this story. You know, it's really something.
Unfortunately, they never made a statement. They never said that they disagree with his statements about Trisha's baby until it's useful. Like, what is it, 3 years later? Like, I mean, you're talking about it like you were aware of it at the time and that there was some amount of pressure.
Okay, how do I say this? Adam McIntyre to Ethan and Hila in 2022. He wasn't a grain of sand. He was more like a seashell on the beach. Like, he's so insignificant. And Trisha's someone that they actively don't like anyway. So it's not someone they like talking shit about another person they like. It's somebody that's irrelevant talking shit about somebody they don't like, and when the irrelevant person says that shit, they don't like it because it's Hila's niece at the time, I think. And, you know, Ethan's obviously related as well. They don't have to make a fucking public statement about that shit. They can just not like it. It's different when you're hiring a guy that edited your event that made no money and for charity and are associated with people that are making all this fucking crazy content. There's no association with the H3 podcast and Adam McIntyre because he's so fucking irrelevant. They had a damn near fucking parasocial relationship during the whole Families, which is the podcast that superseded Frenemies. Like, Ethan's mom was a fan of Adam and his content. That is as far as the relationship went. So what the fuck are we talking about? Why is this in the video? I've got fucking 45 minutes left. That fucking 45 minutes better be worth my time. Because this 16 minutes has not.
Or enthusiasm for you to get down with that. And what it sounds like to me is that you did see it at the time and you were like, ooh, I don't like that. And you didn't endorse it and you didn't fuck with it. It's almost like that is a fucking identical situation to me.
It's just incredible who ends up being the good guys in this story. You know, it's really something.
So yeah, the reason.
And again, Adam McIntyre didn't call CPS on Trisha. So again, we're treating it like it's a 1-to-1, where it's more of like a fucking 100-to-1. Like what? The false equivalency is fucking
The
insane.
reason I'm bringing this up is because they're trying to like paint themselves as the good guys, and they're saying like, yeah, we strongly disavow things that are said, even about our enemies. We are the most immoral people on the internet, unlike Ian and Anissa, who are fucking keeping to themselves. Also, why the fuck does Olivia get the pass?
What a fucking asshole for putting you in that position, Olivia. You're friends with him. And you don't have to say anything, but like, what a fucking piece of shit. What a bad friend to put you in that position just for some fucking clout. It gets people angry at you, like, oh, how can she be friends with him? Which is total bullshit, okay? Olivia did not do anything. And
I want the pass. Do I have to be an employee?
I think the differentiator is that Adam's just a dog shit friend and a clout goblin, and Ethan thought that Idubbbz was more than that. Sorry to say that he was wrong, but you know, do somewhat get his point. But again, it's these false equivalencies, man. Like, Adam fucking sucks, and you fucking suck. that's about where all the similarities end. Yeah, Adam's got all this fucking one-sided beef with Ethan. So yeah, I wouldn't want my friends talking shit about my boss when I quite like my boss. You know, if I heard something crazy, I'd say, nah, no. But yeah, the differentiating factor is that I'm not friends with fucking clout hungry goblins. I'm just a fucking guy in his room, one viewer right now. So, you know, I don't know, man. I somewhat get his point, but it's still got no fucking legs to me, man.
Employee to get that treatment?
More legs than an amputee.
Because then you'll just see me as an ally? Or is it because Ethan is afraid of wrongful termination accusations and lawsuits?
And also, I don't mind putting my friend Olivia, who's apparently my real friend, in a terribly weird, fucking uncomfortable situation where you end up getting hate for no reason.
Also, don't frame it as like other people making it hard on Olivia. You're making it hard on all of these people. Please acknowledge your role in this whole fucking thing. Like, it's crazy how warm Ethan is to Olivia and saying how Olivia is essentially just a victim in this whole thing.
It gets people angry at you, like, oh, how can she be friends with him? Which is total bullshit.
But me and Anissa are...
I mean, I'd say Olivia is a victim now, because she's got someone that she considers a friend, and her boss fired, and people are lumping her in and saying, you know, what the fuck? Like... She's just minding her own damn business. But like, dude, it's you do have a degree of responsibility with how you conduct yourself online. Again, that silence is fucking deafening. Olivia's not a YouTuber. You know, she's just a fucking person. And people are falsely lumping her in because her friend and her boss are fighting. It's not about her friend and her boss. No, it's not about her. It's about her friend and her boss. So why lump her in the first place? You employed somebody and associate with people that are talking shit about your friend. Do you see what I mean? I don't know, bro. You just fucking make it hard.
Spineless. Ethan, your whole system is scrambled. My intention isn't to throw the employees under the bus. Like, you guys serve as the fucking foundation for calling out Ethan's hypocrisy on the whole subject. And I know that you guys have probably pushed back against Ethan over the years. How often are you supposed to do that? Do you have to do that every fucking week? It kind of seems like it. And that's exhausting. I don't want to confront my boss. It's not my fucking job to confront my boss and say, today's segment on rapists and pedophiles on Twitch was not my favorite segment to be a part of.
Yeah, friends like these.
Oh yeah, and our other good friends.
Yeah.
Anissa and Ian. Thanks, Anissa, for standing up for your girl. I actually stood up for you so many times, cause like, why would I not? It was crazy.
Yeah, why would you not?
And to me, that makes the whole relationship feel so transactional. Like, it's not like, I don't know, they gave you money and then they're holding that over your head. It's that they treated you like a fucking human and you didn't give that in return. That's why they're completely justified and why it's not transactional. Like, you're morally bankrupt. This is a tough fucking watch so far.
If that's truly what you believed and you weren't just going to use it later.
Of course I was gonna stand by you. That's insane. It's absolutely insane and disgusting. But now you choose to hang out with people that would have a problem with you if you defended me.
I'm not going to assume that Hila knows, but I'll say it for anyone who doesn't know. Anissa is half Lebanese and half Irish. For anyone unfamiliar, the Irish have been on the receiving end of a lot of oppression and genocide. On the part of the...
Oh, fuck off. It's 2025, okay? Irish people have had it hard. They were treated as fucking second-class citizens for the longest time. It's 2025. You are not going to tell me right now that Anissa's oppressed because she's Irish. You're not. You're not going to do that. We don't do that here. Thank you.
Lebanese, they've received a lot of oppression and attacks from the IDF. So Anissa is very well familiar with the propaganda and the shit coming out of Israel. Choosing now, out of all the times, to be like, please defend me. No, we're not going to fucking defend you.
Rudy was saying that...
Run that by me one more time?
From the IDF. So Anissa is very well familiar with the propaganda and the shit coming out of Israel. Choosing now, out of all the times, to be like, please defend me. No.
But this isn't fucking... What? 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 Okay. She wasn't asking for a defense against Palestine. She was asking for a defense that her kids don't eat shit off the ground. That should be defended if they don't, in fact, eat shit off the ground. Like, again, why is that being turned into an Israel-Palestine thing? Politics removed. I don't like politics. Just put it to the side, okay? Politics removed. Your friends have been accused of being horrible parents who let their kids eat shit. And you said nothing, except for them to get therapy. Okay? You said that you didn't encourage harassment, and then told them to get therapy because they're reacting to having CPS called on them. Again, it's not fucking... Asking Anissa to defend her friends is not pro-Israel, anti-Palestine propaganda. It's saying that your friends are good parents, which should be the bare minimum. You know, the friends that I have are parents, are good parents. If the friends that I have, one of my friends called him an awful parent, if I knew the complete opposite, I would disagree and say, like, who the fuck are you? You've never even set foot in that house. You know. Like, who are you to say that they're bad parents? It's the bare fucking minimum to me. Get politics completely out of the conversation. That's the big problem with all of this drama, is it's too Israel-Palestine. It should be more fucking Ethan Klein versus harassment. That is the problem. I don't like politics. I have I believe what I believe. I'm pretty fucking leftist woke. I get politics out of the fucking conversation. A man is being harassed. A man is having CPS called on his family. They're trying to break his family up because he thinks a certain way. A certain way that they're prescribing to him, by the way. Is that the right word? That they're assigning onto him. When he's come out many times and said that he doesn't feel that way. Like, a man is just being harassed. Your friend is being harassed. Come out and say, yo, guys, don't harass him. He's a good dad. Fucking Christ, dude.
No, we're not gonna fucking defend you.
Rudy was saying that Palestinians are taught at 2 years old to kill Americans.
Do we have that
I
one?
mean, like just the other day, BB fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed about.
He looked mean. I thought he was mean just because he looked mean.
No, it's not.
So yes, you caught us. We're not gonna run to your defense when I don't know, we follow people. But Sabra Hummus being
Oh, shit. Oh, God. Oh, ass.
following.
So, like, this just goes to prove my point. Where the fuck was the friendship in the first place from these people? If already they thought, I'm not going to fucking defend you against anything because you're Israeli and you've said things that are anti-Palestine, or you've been around things that are anti-Palestine. It's a fucking no politics. Get the politics out the conversation. I never thought I'd say that people should be talking about politics less, but for the love of God, please talk about politics less. Talk about fucking Pokemon. I don't know. Talk about anything. Pokemon cards are cringe, but I'd rather hear about that than politics.
That's one fucked up thing that you can say about Anissa and I is when we're on Twitter, we do be following.
So
the problem.
okay,
Yeah, and you're
if you wanna
following
hang out with
awful
those
dog shit
and
people.
have no spine and not stand up for another girl that stood up for you. Enjoy your new friends.
She's friends with people like Denims.
I know. Yeah,
Which I'll
she's
show.
friends with
Denims is
Denim.
actually participating in this whole child protective service lie.
Yeah,
Which I'll
and if
show you
you're
guys
friends with
today.
them, then you're seeing what they're saying.
You'll notice that Ethan and Hila start talking about this Denims character. Originally, the complaint was about my former editor. He's been chatting shit about Ethan and Hila for the past year at least. They only care about it now because I guess it was spoon-fed to them via their Reddit that's clearly looking out for them. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We are friends with Denims, but I would say it's the same level of friendship that we had with Ethan and Hila. It's like kind of an internet friendship. We think that she's a good person like we think Ethan and Hila are good people. Kind of a tricky situation. How can you possibly think that they're both good people at their core? People can have crash out moments. People can say things that they don't mean. People can say things because they want internet clout and attention.
I want to point out, by the way, and it feels like a good timing to say that he didn't go to one of his best friend's wedding, Max Bofo, because Anise was getting a tattoo. I just want to point that out. It feels appropriate. He didn't go to his best friend's wedding, which hopefully he only has one of in his lifetime. He didn't go to that because his wife was getting a tattoo. She has like 100 and they're all awful. And that's what he skipped a wedding for. So this is the caliber of friend that we're talking about, by the way. People that he claims to actually like. Max Bofo has absolutely nothing to do with politics. So we can't use the Max's anti-Palestine defense. You're just a bad friend in general? Bro. With friends like these, man, who the fuck needs enemies?
I don't know. I think they're both probably guilty of saying things that they don't mean for internet clout and attention. Right now, one's a little bit more fucking nasty to me than the other.
I just don't see how you can be my.
Womp womp. Boo hoo. Ethan is mean to me. With friends like these, man. Like, I don't want to say you deserved it and had it coming, but I do want to say it, so I will.
My friend and also be friends with someone like that.
Well, you can't. So I already forgot about you.
I actually have a lot of friendships that are kind of that way, where it's like, you know, one of the friends doesn't fuck with the other friend, but there is someone in the middle who kind of fucks with both of them, but separately. Yeah, there's a lot of friendships that are like that. I'm not gonna make you guys like meet up and kiss or anything. I get it. You guys are in fucking... You're either my best friend who's deep-throating me to the...
Again, it just goes to show what kind of friend you are, though. If you have friends that hate each other, then maybe the problem isn't with your friends. Maybe it's with you for being able to associate with people that hate the people you like. You know? Am I making my point? Am I making my point clear? Am I coming in clear? Maybe you are the problem. Announcement. You are the problem. Testing.
Base of my cock, or you
What
are
the fuck?
Satan. You're the devil.
The last thing I said to Anissa, we were texting before I ever talked about it. She's like, I don't care about this guy. He's a nobody, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, then you'll have no problem publicly denouncing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, the conversation ended.
She never replied.
Ethan, you can't even phrase it in a way that doesn't make you sound like you're being coercive and shitty. Well, then, you should have no problem publicly denouncing it, right? Does that sound like a friend? It kind of...
Yes. Yes. Yes, it does. In fact, it sounds like he's trying too hard because he shouldn't have to ask. That sounds like a friend to me. If I'm being... My whole fucking shtick on this channel is calling people out when they're being turds, right? If I was being a fucking dick and my friends didn't tell me, I would want them to, okay? I'd want them to tell me. I like bettering myself, okay? Like, you give me headaches, I swear to God!
Sounds like something a powerful villain would say.
But it was so funny how she immediately went to comment everywhere, like on our subreddit. She immediately had to comment like, "Oh, he doesn't work with us anymore."
Then
but that was it. That's all she said.
But then say that you don't
Okay. Do you have
agree.
anything else to say for your friends, though?
One of the reasons Anissa was so quick to clarify things in your Reddit is because your Reddit was already talking about who this editor is, and they were spreading misinformation that it was our co-host on our podcast, Uncle Dane. So yeah, the last thing we wanted is this guy getting pulled into this mess, and you guys don't give a fuck. Would it have been nicer and more supportive to say, we don't agree with the things he's saying and we support Ethan and Hila? Sure. Like, yeah, that would have been a nicer thing to say.
Then say it. You 30-year-old empath, then say it.
Silence means something. It
Yes.
means that we would like to pause this relationship until you figure your shit out.
Why? Why? Why can't you just be supportive when your friend is being harassed? You make it so hard for no reason. Your stream's not broke. I'm just fucking like... I'm stunned. I've been fucking flashbang, concussion grenade type shit. Fuck me, man.
And then maybe we can find a moment in time.
Your silence is very loud. It doesn't mean let's put the friendship or whatever on pause while you get your mental right. A silence from people that you associate so closely with. Silence regarding people you associate so closely with is fucking deafening. Okay. This video is a piece of shit so far.
Time, I don't know how long it'll be, but a moment in time in the future where things are a little bit easier to broach. I don't think we need to do it right now, but you've insisted that this is an important thing to address. I would have been perfectly fine with you not blasting me on your Instagram story. I would have been perfectly fine with you not blasting me and my wife on your podcast twice. I would be fine with you not brigading my comment section on my podcast that gets 3,000 views a week because
Okay, but where are the lies, though? Where are the lies? Ian, it's like you've learned, again, allegedly, that your consequences, your actions have consequences. I don't know why I keep saying it like that. Like, you blame Ethan for... I mean, you blamed Ethan for leaving these comments, apparently. Your actions just have fucking consequences. Your silence is loud. And your lack of friendship is fucking deathly apparent. Word up, Max. Whose fucking wedding you missed because your wife got another fucking scribble.
because I prefer to not to do harassment campaigns and instead talk about Vampire's Kiss.
You decide to not disavow harassment. You decide to not do the bare minimum. That's why people have an issue. I mean, you can make your fucking shit content that no one watches, but at least be a good person in the process.
Like they say something like he doesn't work for me, and I strongly disagree, and I support Ethan and Hila. The problem is
that she doesn't.
That's the problem.
The problem is that she doesn't.
She actually.
She thinks they have a point.
That's the problem.
Yeah. So go fuck yourself.
I agree.
Go fuck yourself. What about your girl? This is what I'm talking about. This aggression that you're putting out into the world. What the fuck do you think we're gonna do? You think I'm gonna fucking sit on my hands when you do this shit? Like, this is nasty. We had such a fair response.
Why does he keep crying and bitching and moaning about people being mean to him? Right. When he can't do the bare minimum and defend his friends when people are being mean to them, am I meant to feel bad? Am I seriously meant to feel bad? Like I said before, I feel bad about the state of your career, and that's goddamn about it.
Response to what you guys were going through. We don't support harassment. It's a bad thing, but it happens, and you're perpetuating it.
You fucking
You're perpetuating it by allowing it. Okay? This motherfucker, Colonel Sanders looking ass, fighting for his fucking life. Goddamn least he can do is fucking get some friends that stand by him, that fucking defend him. You know, it's fucking bad when people that he's publicly fought with in the past, people who have said fucked things about his wife, like Nick DiOrio, are people that he now considers good friends because he's one of the few people that actually fucking defends Ethan. That's how you know how fucked this shit is. When his enemies are now considered more friends than you are. How fucking backwards are we, dude? More fucking backwards than an Alabama family tree, I'm fucking telling you now.
Propagandist, lying scumbag, terrorist supporter. He probably sets up a mirror and jerks off watching himself. Dan KKK Clancy has a similar...
Oh, it is Dan Clancy.
Because Dan
Who's that
Clancy
motherfucker from SpongeBob then? Oh, I need to Google that. That's going to annoy me. Down here. Stan Clancy? What's his fucking name? Mr. Krabs. Voice. Clancy Brown. You know, it's Clancy in there. I thought I was fucking slandering Mr. Krabs. Clancy Brown, we love you. Be crab more often.
Nazi, fucking anti-Semite.
You can't expect other people to stop harassing you if you continue to harass people. Let's think about it on a micro level. Have you ever been in a comment section and found someone to argue with? It doesn't stop. It can literally go on forever if you don't want to touch grass.
Personally, little side hobby of mine, I love watching someone be wrong in a YouTube comment section and then just fucking crash out. I don't know if it's rage bait or what, but it's so fucking entertaining. I don't know. That shit's fucking fun to watch. Just seeing the ratios get smaller and smaller, or bigger and bigger. Seeing them go from a comment with 30 likes to comments with 0 likes. That's just entertaining, man. That's a crash out I enjoy to watch. People being perpetually wrong. Like Mr. Ian Jomar here.
I mean, yeah, this was kind of like a line, what happened today, that should never be crossed, even by like the most cynical, toxic people. It's going to have ramifications in terms of how I conduct myself. In terms of these fair weather friends who are, you know, so happy to be friends as long as they're getting something out of it.
Ethan, that is a rich thing to say. Like, you're the H3 podcast, okay? There's a lot of friends of the show. There's even more fair weather friends of the show. Let's not get into this shit, okay? That is so bizarre and insulting.
I'm ready for a point.
To suggest that I was only ever being friends with you to get something out of it. No, I'm friendly with you, and I'd say I'm a light friend because it's been pleasant hanging out with you. I've enjoyed your content over the years, and as of late, it's gotten really fucking shitty.
Yeah. So
both things can be true. You can enjoy hanging out with him and give him absolutely fucking nothing in return. Both things can be true. What's that Post Malone line? People are free, but only when the dinner is. Like, yeah, you can show up, but it doesn't mean you fucking contribute shit. Okay? Fuck.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree.
Who else? Who else do we want to burn today?
Who else do we want to burn today? You're making it so fucking obvious that this is your emotional dumping ground. It's horrible. This is not what podcasts are. There was a way to approach this to say,
oh, Ian's autism is showing. Ian's autism is showing. Okay. Healy gets this a lot, man, where she'll say some shit and then people will just completely skirt the point. Is it on purpose? Is it bad faith? Probably. Okay. Healy was saying, bro, who the fuck else do we not know? Who else is going to let us down? Who else is going to not stand by us when we've been so good to them? That's what she's saying. She's not, let me think of more people to drag. No, she's fucking waiting for it at this point. Because friends like you have let her down so much. Okay? Is it fucking like selective autism that's going on? Like, what is this?
Like, yeah, we feel hurt by you guys not saying something.
Like, this whole video is just him language policing people, which is ironic because the reason we're in this situation in the first place is Ian's lack of language. Ian just idly standing by, fucking... How do I get more brain damage?
Decided to do the
How do I scam more charities? How do I... How do I block more punches with my face? That was your language, Mr. Language Cop.
Extra thing and attack. Now, in fairness, I am attacking back, but I feel very insulted and I feel defensive and
almost like that's how Ethan felt when people called CPS on him. Tell me, Ian, do we have any thoughts on that? It's almost like Ian felt that way first, and your response to that was I don't like that you guys are being harassed. You know? Again, a lack of language, lack of anything, lack of spine, lack of balls. Like, am I meant to feel bad? Am I meant to feel bad? Because if you're trying, boy, it ain't working. Fuck, man. I'm not even halfway through, though. I'm not even halfway through. I'm gonna have to do this fucking stream in like 12 different parts, man.
And I feel like I am speaking up for a lot of people who have problems with you, and a lot of people who have been.
Those comments on your irrelevant podcast were people speaking up against you because they had problems with you not defending Ethan. Do we see how these two things... Do we see how they're the same picture? Right? No? The lack of mental capacity. Dr. Mike really gave you that fucking CTE good, dude. Gave you that fucking right hook uppercut.
Then on the receiving end of your harassment.
It's so easy to be anti-racist.
That boy should have gave you chest compressions after he fucking knocked you out, dude.
Everybody's anti-racist. Racism is the worst thing in the world, right? We fucking hate racists. Fuck racists.
Microaggressions.
The minute that they actually have to stick their neck out for somebody, the minute they have to actually risk something to put themselves in under scrutiny, to sacrifice something personally to stand up for racism, then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I don't want to get involved.
And that's drama.
How much do you care?
I don't do drama.
How much
Sorry.
do you actually care? If you're, isn't that the whole point? Like,
I realize that Ethan and Hila are more scared now than they've probably ever been. I feel like anti-Semitism is a thought in their heads now more than ever. And it's not completely unjustified to be thinking about that sometimes. You guys are just hurt, and you're kind of like dancing around and making very like loose, poorly thought out analogies for something that doesn't even apply to us. It's like me making this video is the standing up for something, and it's saying fuck you.
For the first time in years.
You guys are being bad.
For the first time in years, and what it took for him to say that was for someone to personally call him out, by the way. First time he's had an opinion in years. And it took Ethan and Neely saying to go fuck yourself. That is vocal. That's honestly very vocal. Like, you only speak up when it concerns you. Good friend you are. Mr. fucking be my wife's carer while she gets a tattoo. If she needs a chauffeur to a tattoo, maybe she shouldn't get a tattoo in the first place. Have we thought about that? You're treating the fucking bitch like she's going to a PG-13 movie. If she needs an adult to accompany her, maybe she shouldn't get a tattoo. I don't know. Fuck, man. You just buy a gun and give her tattoos. How about that? Be with her every time, then.
You know, I don't think you're bad people, but you're being bad.
The fucking drawings will probably be better as well. She and you do not have good tattoos. Whoever your artist is, you can't fire him, so just get a new one. You are years too early for, too late for LA Ink. Because I know that's in your neck of the woods. But we don't fuck with Kat Von D, apparently. But yeah, you need someone with talent. You need someone with talent. I don't know what fucking stick you're drawing up on the fridge type fucking tattoo artist you're getting, but get a new one.
You're behaving poorly. You're hurting people.
I mean, go back to the civil rights. You think that the people who are like the white kids who are protesting with the black students, you think that they were just like not risking anything? Those kids who are marching with the black students and...
So in Ethan's analogy, he's the black student and I'm the white student, but I'm the white student that's not, you know, marching by his side. I'm not doing the difficult thing. You're gonna have to march on your own, black student.
Marching with the black student.
Okay, but again, where's... Yes, Ethan, good job. You understood the analogy. Ethan is saying that people have to. In those days, they sacrificed a lot of white people to even associate with black people and advocate for their rights, while it was a lot easier to just pretend like you didn't care, pretend like you liked things the way it was. That analogy is perfect for right now. Granted, the civil rights movement is a lot more severe. You know, it was a much fucking bigger deal than Israel-Palestine. Sorry to break it to you guys, but I care about people of color's fucking rights more than a fucking more than a war that's been going on for decades in a fucking part of the world that I don't give a fuck about. You know, war's bad. Stop killing each other. That's what I think about war. And I like that people of color have rights. It's a much bigger deal, but the analogy still works for me.
I mean, why is it inspiring? Why is it inspiring?
Well, and it's the same thing. Bring it back to Hassan just because, but it kind of is the same thing. Like, I was thinking about going to Gaza until I found out it's dangerous. He's a total performative activist that doesn't give a single fuck about the cause.
It's been performed exquisitely, harassing one person and seamlessly transitioning into harassing another one.
No. What? No. What? No. What? Ethan's point was that Hassan said he was gonna go to Palestine so he could do a bunch of shit, fucking make a bunch of content, say, oh, free Palestine. But then he didn't want to go because it was too dangerous. That's called performative activism. He's saying this shit to look good. Where the fuck is this point coming from?
If anyone's been watching for the past fucking year, I'm pretty sure they have a good idea of your feelings about Hassan.
Like, people like Anissa are the perfect example because she's friends with these people. She's friends with Denims. Denims is streaming this story about our kid
I'll show that, yeah.
getting Giarda from the dog, whatever.
I'm sorry, I'll accept this position from anyone except you guys. You have laid the groundwork for this type of streaming, which is watching people's shit and giving your unfiltered reaction to it. Why would you expect Anissa, of all people, to say something to Denims?
Okay. I wonder how Ian would react if Ethan had his favorite person in the world, Sam Hyde, on his show. Right? How would Ian feel about that? Would he feel betrayed for a situation where he made a fucking dogshit documentary and got fooled? Inviting the guy that did that on. It's almost like your feelings get hurt when your friends associate with people that you don't like and that say horrible things about you. I mean, I would much rather associate with the guy that calls my partner Yoko Ono than the guy that says that my kids eat shit and I give them diseases because I don't clean my house and I'm disgusting. Like, pick the lesser of the two evils, man. I would much rather have fucking Sam Hyde as a friend than Denims. Let's just say that shit.
Okay, so by that logic, we should be saying shit to you guys all the time. But I have a feeling you guys wouldn't like if we said shit like that to you all the time. Yeah, we've been respecting you as independent content creators. You can do what you want. We'll treat you as adults. Maybe we shouldn't have been treating you as adults.
She could say so much, and it would make her a little bit uncomfortable, right? It's not comfortable. She'll get a little bit of shit.
Yeah, just for
But
saying
that would be commendable.
And by the way, it kind of speaks for itself that saying, hey, their house is clean, they're, they're actually good people, like that's going to get you shit. That kind of says it all, doesn't it?
They just want you to fucking not be an NPC, dude. That's it. I'm trying to think of like a fucking like Skyrim NPC quote or something. No. You're just nothing burgers of people. Like, you have no opinions, no spines, no nothing. So like, what value is there to like anything? about you guys. Fuck.
There isn't a single person that I respect who would give a fuck if I publicly said that Ethan and Hila are great with their kids, Ethan and Hila didn't kill their dog, and Ethan and Hila wipe their asses or don't have giardia or whatever the prompt is.
Then why didn't you? Why didn't you then? Because support is perpetuating hatred. Like, can we get our story straight, please? Can we do that? They weren't asking you to fucking, like, spurg out and pretend to be fucking Discord mods. Oh, Ethan's actually a great guy and he's been perfect for his whole career. They've asked you to defend them on one point about their parenting ability because they got CPS called on them. Okay? Why do we keep making this false equivalency? Like, it's so disproportional. A man got CPS called on him, so he wanted you to say he was a good parent.
No one would care. The only person who would care is me, because I'm like, why did I tweet this out? I'm not tweeting
Because you're the man's friend, and he's getting harassed for being a terrible, awful, horrible parent.
out because I'm not your fucking lapdog. That's why I'm not tweeting it out. I'm not saying it to my audience because I don't give a fuck.
I mean, at least he's fucking honest. At least he's honest. With friends like these, at least he's honest. He doesn't care. And the only time he cares is when they talk about him directly and say, yo, fuck you for doing that. That's the only thing that fucking makes Idubbbz get a spine. Is when you talk about him directly. He has no opinion about anything else. NPC fucking looking ass.
It's not my business.
That boy fucking built like fucking every single default character in every single video game ever. White, buzz cut.
In my opinion, doing something that's
Yes, it
difficult
does.
and standing by your principles. That's the whole point. That's what makes standing by your principles admirable, is that it's not always easy.
Why are you saying that I'm not standing up for my principles when you don't even know what they are?
Do you know what they are? Do you know what they are? Do you know what they are? Ian, please tell me, what are your principles? What principles do you have? I have a long ass time. I have a 4-day weekend. I got tomorrow off, Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. I have a long ass fucking time for you to tell me what your principles are. Because that would involve you having an opinion that people disagree with sometimes. God fucking forbid.
We're a little bit past directly naming me, so we might have gone off on a tangent. If you maybe accepted the phone call and we talked about it, you could have asked me, hey, what are your principles? And I can tell you the way I've been behaving is exactly in line with my principles.
How have you been behaving? What are you talking about? What?
Now we're going to talk about the BDS list. We're going to start off with Frogan because obviously this is like as bad as it gets. If you're following Frogan, that can only mean that you're anti-Ethan. Oh, this is not a good start. Love of the H3 podcast.
Why is this befriend, discuss, social media, follow?
You are following Frogan, so that means that you are anti-Ethan. Sam, Morg Pie, friend of the show. Olivia, Ian, Daily Dose of Internet is anti-Ethan? Jesus, this is fucked up. Pokimane, comment etiquette. Oh shit, Asmongold's in here? Asmongold follows Frogan? No, Asmon!
But that one alone has just proven that not all of Frogan's followers like her. Whereas you're hiring editors that I imagine you probably like. You're associating with streamers that I imagine you probably like. Like, it's a bit different than one of his employees trying to fucking keep tabs on what she's saying.
That means you're anti-Ethan. That's fucked up. We're going to want to avoid these creators at the top of the list, but one
Yes,
tier below
please.
them are the creators who associate with them. They're essentially endorsing all of their statements. You got me, you got Anissa, I think Hassan's in there. You'd
But they don't.
think that Hassan would be on the top of the BDS list.
Love does not know Frogan. Love does not publicly associate with Frogan. Love is not publicly friends with Frogan. If they were, then yes, there would be an expectation for Love to disavow any slander that Rogan's throwing their way. It's not fucking hard. It's not difficult. This is not fucking mental maths, fucking elite mind games. It's just fucking basic.
But that's not the case. Hassan provides additional value for people. Ethan can turn a blind eye to people collaborating with Hassan because that's what he did. You gotta be the lowest of the low to be associated.
He associated with Hassan when he thought he's a good person. That's the
With
difference.
the Frogans and the Denims of the world.
He associated with Hassan when he wasn't fucking public enemy number one and fucking talking mad shit about Ethan. That's the difference.
To associate with Hassan, that just makes sense because he's famous and he's got a massive fan base. Also, Ethan still follows Hassan on Instagram, so Hassan is in his feed.
And that's showing.
Oh yeah, I guess they're best friends then. Like, what is this point? Ethan follows Hassan, so I guess they're actual secret lovers. And Ethan Hilo getting divorced soon because Ethan Hassan, I'm shipping it. They're gonna get married.
Right up on Nisa's and Idubbbz feed.
It's important to remember that this is a living document and people can be removed or put onto it depending on how Ethan's feeling that day. You have this other tier of
We got Sam Cedar, who said the N-word like what, a week ago? Yeah, that's a really good fucking choice.
creators that exist below Hassan but are still anti-Ethan. But Ethan really doesn't want to bring your attention to these ones because it's kind of unpopular, you know? A lot of them are famous. It's no coincidence that Ethan stays silent when these powerful, popular men are supporting Hassan. It's because Ethan is a coward. He's a bitch-made coward.
Talk about pot meat kettle. Fuck.
I think Ethan has an unreasonable amount of respect for these comedians because
I don't even know who this motherfucker at the bottom is. Am I supposed to know? Theo Von, he's famous. He probably doesn't know. He probably doesn't even know what Israel-Palestine is. So I'm not fucking shocked that he's interviewing Hassan because he's famous. This fucking Stavros dude. He's never seemed very funny. So, like, who cares? Jeff Whittaker literally has brain damage. Probably not as much as you, Ian, but he has brain damage. But like again, they're not this. They're not. You know, we're not talking about he's been on his podcast a few times. But they've publicly beefed Ethan and Jeff Whittaker. So where's the comparisons are fucking crazy,
they
dude.
have power, they're quick, and I think he knows that they don't fuck with his ideology. But he's going to keep that to himself because the last thing that he wants to discover is that people that he respects and looks up to, they don't fuck with him.
Bill Burr came on. It was like the worst fucking show. It was just horrible. That was like my lowest moment on podcast history. We could talk about Bill Burr ruined my life. Bill Burr made Ethan go on Lexapro. I was prescribed it and it was in my bedside. And then it was the Bill Burr episode that made me finally start.
When Stavros goes on Hassan's stream and he mocks your content nuke,
I actually saw a really interesting video about you, man, and I don't know that I'm even comfortable being here anymore.
Oh no.
It really kind of shed light on you in a way.
Yeah.
You kind of like have leftist politics and stuff like that, and I actually feel betrayed.
Yeah,
and so I'm actually just here to let you know this is the last time I'm ever coming.
you don't fire back because
What do you want me to say to that? What do you want anyone to say to that? Who fucking cares? Right? Ethan and Stavros are like this, dude. They're so in tight together. I don't care about someone with a fucking dog shit opinion. The man interviewed a terrorist and endorsed a terrorist and said he was like the fucker from One Punch and called him Anne Frank. Bro, if you haven't seen it, watch the content nuke. Like, it speaks for itself. I don't know why we're fucking showcasing room temp IQ people. I really don't.
you're coping. So you're just going to tuck your tail between your legs and never mention on your podcast that mentions everything. You're bringing up some fucking connection I have on Twitter, someone mocks you on a stream, you're not touching it. Fuck you, you're a coward. It's just his job. It's just what he does for his job. You know, he doesn't mean it. We're actually good friends. You know, he makes fun of everyone. It's not just me, right? Oh, also, I can't forget about Matt Lieb. Matt Lieb is in this like middle tier. His
Piece of
valuable
shit.
association is Rhett and Link. So Rhett and Link, conveniently, are also in this category of popular and powerful men who Ethan does not want to burn bridges with.
That's not true at all. Ethan put on his story that he wonders if Rhett and Link know who they've hired. Which, like, they probably don't. But, yeah, he directly referenced it. He didn't shy away from, oh, it's Rhett and Link, so I can't speak on this. Matt Lieb is a fuck. He's another fuck. So, yeah, I think that people as, you know, family friendly is widely loved as those two guys would want good-ass people on their show. I mean, granted, I've had this opinion for a hot minute about the H3 podcast and Good Mythical Morning. Those crew members are on there too much. Like, I care about the host. Let me hear about the host. So when they're letting their little crew members talk, and one of them is Matt Lieb, yeah, I think it's kind of relevant that we question if they know who's on their show. Yeah?
Although, he's sniffing around.
This guy, Matt Lieb, he works for Good Mythical Morning.
Oh,
Of all
look!
people, this guy, Matt Lieb, who apparently is a producer for Good Mythical Morning.
Well,
This guy works for Good Mythical Morning, acting like he's wholesome, and he's bringing on somebody that wants to kill my wife, or in a video game. And I think he should be fired, frankly. And I hope he is fired. He's pathetic, and he interviewed a fucking, basically a terrorist.
But he's shying away from Rhett and Link. Too famous.
I think Ethan only respects power right now, which is one of the reasons I made this video in the first place, is because he thinks I'm weak. He thinks a lot of these other creators that he's gone out of his way to attack, he thinks that they're weak, and he thinks they're a target that he can bully, he can manipulate, he can send lawsuits to, and...
Who thinks Hassan Parker's weak is what I want to know. Dude's like 6'5", fucking like 230 pounds, 220 pounds. Probably like fucking 8% body fat. What are we talking about? He's famous enough. He's got enough fucking dick riders to be delusional. So where's his weakness at? He's suing Noah Samson because he called him genocidal. And I think Chud Logic probably should join in on that lawsuit. Granted, he made a retraction, but it only took assault survivors coming out to say, yo, that's not grooming, for him to retract it. It didn't just take common sense to say that wanting to get with an 18-year-old isn't being a pedo.
And I want him to know that we're not going to be bullied. You're being a piece of shit, and we're going to call you out.
So here's the button.
Which is what he wanted you to do with the people that called CBS.
You've got a video and you've got an audio. We're hitting both.
Are we really going to call out the button? He has a kill switch where if anything crazy happens on the show, he can just like cut that bit of footage. That's called being responsible. That's called not putting some harmless shit out on the airways. Some harmful shit out on the airways. What would you know about that, Ian? Huh? Because I'd say a solid fucking 80% of this video has been harmful.
Yeah,
this whole video should have been kill switched.
Shit. Like, how pathetic are you? Don't worry if you don't have it all now. I don't like pedophile. Like the Eye of Sauron. I see you. I see you out there, you fucking cockroach. You'll be living with your parents for a lot longer, buddy. Yes, please, I want to be a good Jew. I'm a good Jew, please, guys, please.
That was fine. Yeah, I don't think it was that
was fine.
big a deal.
Hey.
Of all the things that
Anywho.
it always surprises me what you think crosses the line.
Well, I looked at Olivia and she's like, yes, do it.
Now let's talk about the button. Ethan got this button, or kill switch, as a response to the controversy with Cutie Cinderella.
I've spoken about this shit on Twitter. I might have spoken about it on the stream before. Small ass violin goes out to Cutie Cinderella. It's very teeny, tiny, small. But I'd love to see what Ian says before I fucking slam dunk on his fucking ass.
He was not able to control himself in that moment, and instead of figuring out how he can change his behavior, he spent $20,000.
Okay. So, Cutie Cinderella situation, streamer, don't know his name, who cares? You know, he's fucked, so he doesn't deserve a viewership. He was watching AI adult content of Cutie Cinderella, and in return she made a video acting like she'd been assaulted. I don't know how to put it respectfully, so I won't. How fucking dare you, Cutie Cinderella, right? Try to in any way make it seem like you've got anything in common with actual assault survivors. A photograph that isn't of you but has your face photoshopped on it is not assault. It's weird, but you are not a victim. It's a victimless crime. It's not even a crime. It's not even a crime. You're just not a victim. Ethan was right to fucking make fun of this fucking, I don't even know, overly emotional fucking dramatic shit. It's a photograph that's not of you. You're not a victim, okay? You've not been assaulted. And the fact that you treat it as such is so fucking disrespectful to people that actually have been assaulted. That is all. You deserve the mockery for how you acted in that situation. Because nothing happened to you. Nothing happened to you. You were sat in your fucking mansion in California while some dude was fucking failing No Nut November to AI photos of you. Okay? You're not a victim. You're not. Zero empathy. None. Fat fucking donut.
Cinderella. He was not able to control himself in that moment, and instead of figuring out how he can change his behavior, he spent $20,000.
Dan and Ela were like, we would kill button that right now if we could. I can't change who I am.
I know. That's why the kill button is on its way.
That's it. See, exactly.
He uses the button for everything. If his jokes don't land, he's hitting the button.
It was being presented as if the Jordan crying thing.
I hit the button.
Why?
I don't think I needed to, but you guys were giving me crickets, so I panicked.
If he's insecure about getting something wrong, he's hitting the button.
But okay. What? Button for that? What on this frame could Ethan have responded to? Perhaps the country flag that he got wrong? Maybe. I don't know.
If he goes on a problematic tirade, he's hitting the button.
Before, look how sad. But yeah, it's not just that. Like their eyes are like big. I think you guys are wrong on this one. I think you guys are all wrong on this one.
I don't think he's unique in hitting the button. I think if all of us had buttons, we'd hit the button all the time. But if you don't have it,
you need a button to make the parts where you actually talk even more quiet. You need more silence, apparently. Because you are chatting actual fucking dookie right now.
Differently. You think about what you're saying. You maybe plan for your show a little bit more. You maybe say, I'm not going to have my podcast be an emotional dumping ground for today. You instead say, ooh, it's important that we stay on topic. Also, the H3 community and Ethan himself use the phrase...
I'm sorry. Why do you expect Ethan to just completely ignore everything that's going on in his life? A fucking authentic, I can do it with a broken heart type shit. You can't expect him to be going through all this fucking harassment and fucking potential trauma for his kids at home and then put on a happy face at the fucking podcast. If he wants to talk about it, why the fuck can't he? Let my boy speak, man. Shit.
Goblin
He
mode.
doesn't have to be the fucking Joker. If he's got some shit going on and he wants to talk about it, more power to him. Fuck.
All the time to excuse a lot of his shitty behavior or make it seem less bad.
I've been diagnosed with goblin mode, actually.
By claiming that what happens is he just gets into this like uncontrolled state he refers to as goblin mode.
I do not call myself goblin mode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That video by Mika's Rhetoric was fucking awful, by the way. She said she was scared to make it. Like she had a pistol against her head. You're a YouTuber, man. If you don't want to make a video and you're scared to make a video, don't. Again, you're not a victim. You did something completely by your own will. You're not. What are you scared of? If you're that scared, don't upload it. I mean, if I made a video that bad, I'd be scared to upload it as well. Let's just say that.
Goblin mode? Is that what you're calling Tourette's now?
To all victims of goblin mode, I would like to issue an apology.
Well, he
You
got
are
that.
goblin mode today. You're goblin mode. Look how many times you paused the
I'm
fucking
trying,
video.
bro.
And I don't think there's no room for using the term goblin mode.
The irony of Ian talking about goblin mode while looking like this and having a gold tooth is not lost on me.
I like the idea that you're defending yourself and the little guy by going goblin mode when a big corporation or a big entity is trying to attack you.
Like, if you fuck me over, if you steal money from me, if you patronize me, if you do any of this shit like you're trying to do to me, to treat me like a fucking idiot, I'm crazy, dude. I've gone fucking goblin mode over way less.
But you not thinking about what you're saying, not, reflecting on your behavior, not changing your behavior, that's not goblin mode. That's being a child. Let's talk about the crew. I think the crew has been put in the worst working environment that you possibly can be for a fucking podcast. Every crew member has it bad. To be around Ethan, period, would be a nightmare right now.
I'm standing by every fucking syllable of that, okay? What she did was abhorrent. And by the way,
Just don't. Listen, your critique of her is correct. It's just, people are sensitive about women being called that word. And so...
like, how pathetic are you? You know what I mean?
Well,
I'm not assuming his pronouns. And fuck all these people. Go ahead.
No,
and I'm
I-
not yelling at you. I'm just... Kelly is...
Oh, I can give context of that one. I can give context of that one right now. Actually, this clip is in reaction. Is in response to the internet's favorite Twitter versus YouTuber, Boblex, who is non-binary. Love that for them. But the thing about Boblex is that supposedly they go by all pronouns, and Ethan was being lectured on saying, oh, you have to use they, them, you have to use they, them, when it should have been their job. I don't know why the fuck they're around, again, which is why I'm not huge on crews getting us involved in this. It's a search away. 2025, big thing. Cis people, non-cis people, bios in the description of their social media profiles. It would have taken one fucking Twitter search to find Boblex's pronouns and realise that you're just fucking wrong by forcing they them pronouns when all pronouns are accepted. So this was like a nothing burger. Ethan said that he'd refer to Boblex as he. If Boblex accepts he, him pronouns, which they do, he does, she does, use whatever one you want, because they're fine with it. That's the point. So, what the fuck are we talking about, man, dude?
You know what I mean?
Well,
I'm not assuming his pronouns. And fuck
It was really fucking cringe watching Olivia fucking try to force that. No, actually, call them they, them. What are you doing if you can't just Google? What is your job if you can't just Google their pronouns? No one on that whole crew Googled a pronoun. Search a pronoun on Twitter, fucking Instagram, whatever. It's not hard to find. It's 2025, man.
all these people. Go ahead.
No,
and I'm
I-
not yelling at you. I'm just... Kelly is a black woman, right?
Yes.
Mazil is a
Korean.
Oh, Dan, come on. You're being such a buzzkill. Yeah, I don't know Korean. I asked if Koreans are POC. God.
You know, Dan's in the bathroom. Let's just not do this right now.
I asked if Korean people are POCs.
The one time the button didn't work, and we listened to how he spoke to AB.
Oh. The gavel is going to come down on this
without
one.
thinking that the internet was going to hear it. It was rude.
AB got abused. He got done so
It was
dirty.
nasty, and it didn't have this caveat of like, I'm not mad at you. It was anger, and it was uncalled for.
Use they get access to cover most of it.
We're doing it.
What are you
Making it
doing?
So awkward and terrible.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Just like this is what I'm talking about when it's always like.
We need to get home for our kids.
It's like, bro.
Oh no, I didn't want to finish it right now. I just thought about finishing Wednesday.
On Friday, maybe. Is it?
You guys, like.
All right, I'm taking my hand off the.
Context behind that one. AB was trying to force a talking point. These motherfuckers were trying to finish up and go home, see their kids. You know, the kids that they supposedly neglect so much. They were trying to rush home so they can see them. AB kept fucking yapping. That's what that was about. That is not rude, okay? That is just being told, yo, stop. You're being really annoying. Oh, if Ian had more of these people in his life, maybe we wouldn't have lost him to the fucking PTSD.
What? Okay, well,
Heard all that.
Thanks, Button.
And he didn't want to take accountability for it. He immediately wanted to deflect, and he wanted to say that the button fucked him.
First of all, I appreciate the hard work.
I know
you've
you
done,
do,
and
I
I
know.
loved it, and I really enjoy it. But it's like every time we do it, it's like the show is what it is, and
I know.
it makes it.
I was being selfish.
No, dude, that button me, dude. Can you imagine that button me over like that?
The button fucked you? AB fucked you? Who fucked you? You fucked yourself by being an asshole. He makes it.
I mean, I will say that crew's been the same for like actual years now. At this point, I think they've introduced like one new person, maybe lost two. So, you know, the turnover rate is so high. This is how you know Ian's never had a real job, because if he ever worked at fucking McDonald's, Walmart, this boy would have seen turnover rates and bad buses and fucking annoying working conditions. If he's got the same fucking people by his side this whole time, I think he might be an okay boss. I think he might treat his employees well. And I'd probably kill to be what salary they're on. So, what is the point?
It seem like he's not a tyrant of a boss.
We're doing it.
What are
Making
you
it
doing?
So awkward and terrible.
I appreciate the hard work.
I know
you've
you do,
done, and
I
I
know.
loved it, and I really enjoy it.
Dan, his producer, is constantly clarifying things on the air and making it clear that what Ethan said was a joke. Ethan is being overly defensive, or he's saying things that are like not true and he's exaggerating.
I didn't type that.
Dan's been there for a whole minute, but he talks too much. Every one of them talks too much. Every GMM cast member talks too much.
They thought that was what you searched to
I did
pull
not
up that
type
photo, so I'm just clarifying.
Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate you doing that.
Such valid insight.
Why?
Because
it's not that big of a deal, man.
Just
Like,
your
how
inability to.
No. Hold on, Dan. How does it change anything? People knowing that we did it.
It's fun when it's a surprise.
Okay, well,
Well, you just asked how it changed
Surprise
things.
them on your show.
Okay, all right.
You know, I understand that that's his
Oh my
role,
god, that was
and
so rude. That was so rude. Did you see how rude that was? How rude. Oh my god, poor Dan.
you know, Ethan's made that his job, or Dan's made it his job. Ethan leans on it so heavily. In the same way that he leans on the button. Ethan is leaning on all of these people to be adults and look after his behavior and give all of this emotional and empathetic energy for Ethan, but Ethan refuses to give it back to them. Also, let's talk about AB and Lena, two Lebanese employees, and you just can...
Can we talk about AB and Lena? So, Creator Clash 3, right? The sequel to the Creator Clash 2 that made zero money for charity at a charity event because you spent all your money throwing galas for people like Hassan Piker and Frogan. That one, yeah, okay. The one IRS thought was fraudulent because they didn't understand how you lost so much money. That one, okay. Glad we're on the same page. Lena's fighting on Creator Clash 3. and people thought that the reason this video wasn't going to be about H3 is because you were going to make that really awkward for her. So yeah, let's please consider Lena and AB when you're making hit pieces about their boss. You know, it's kind of like Adam McIntyre. Like, what do they do now? You know, because supposedly Lena really enjoys boxing and she really wants to do the event, but stuff like this does not help. And we already know that you're not really one for helping charities too much. So, you know, if you lose a fight, what big deal is it to you?
Continue to talk about the conflict like they don't exist. It would be nicer, a lot nicer, for you to shut the fuck up about it. You're allowed to do that.
Hezbollah in Syria alone killed double that much. All right, I'm going to move on. I just want to play Hassan talking about Bad Empanada.
Ethan doesn't want to change, and he wants to bring the entire crew down with him because he's putting them in this position every day, right? But it's more important that he gets this shit off his chest. It's more important that he dumps.
It's his fucking show, man. Let him talk about what he wants. Shit.
All familiar with
You really are language policing? Language cop is the better fucking name.
Goblin mode. Well, Ethan debuted a new mode recently.
And by the way, my ratio is pretty good. Like, I'm looking at like 20 goblin modes to 1 too far. Demon mode, let's call it.
Okay, but that's Ethan like 50 pounds heavier, so how is this recent?
What makes demon mode different than goblin mode is goblins aren't really like an intimidating, powerful force. If the goblin is persistent, it can get what it wants.
When I'm done...
Yeah, they're like you in a boxing ring, just small, fragile, and annoying.
With the other one, the big one that's dropping probably next week, my full attention is going to you, George. Like the Eye of Sauron. I see you. I see you out there, you fucking cockroach.
Talking about suing Bad Empanada, by the way, who's supposedly reported Ethan to CBS, according to him. He made a post saying that he's Ethan and Gela's kids' new dad because their parents are like genocidal, let their kids eat shit. Yeah, the man tried to kill Gela Klein in a video game. Yeah, I'm not sure that he gets a very good pass from me either.
Ethan, the reason the internet got behind you when you were being sued by Matt Haas or when you were being sued by Ryan Kavanaugh is because people saw you as the underdog. They saw you as the guy who's defending the common man.
I'm suing, and I cannot wait for you guys to read it. At the moment, we are writing 3...
I've not heard of a frivolous Ethan Klein lawsuit, let's just say that.
...complaints for 3 people.
You are doing the classic rich asshole thing. You have a deficit of friends, you have a surplus of enemies. You feel really bad, you feel hurt, but you also have a surplus of money, so what can you do?
Ian, you have a surplus of friends because you're a people pleaser, which is ironic because the content you make pleases nobody. If people are fucking slandering Ethan, yes, he should be allowed to sue. Being the plaintiff in a lawsuit does not mean you're suddenly the bad guy. Victims' families in murder cases are not the bad guy because they want the other guy to go to jail. Okay? Just because you're on the accusatory side of a lawsuit does not mean that you suck. Because some lawsuits are very fucking valid. I don't know. Apparently this guy needs a tutorial on how life works.
You can use that money to bully and intimidate people. These public legal threats that you're making to fellow creators, these legal threats that you're making to people on Reddit, on Twitter, you're like, I'm hurt. These people are hurting me. What do I do to stop it? There's nothing I can do to stop it. I'm powerless. No, you have a ton of power. You have a ton of options. You have a ton of choice. That's exactly what you get for being filthy rich, is you can do all of these things.
I've never want to sue someone for defamation, but like at what point do you kind of fucking have to? I mean, this is like basically someone calling you a pedophile. Be like, yeah, no, Ethan's a pedophile.
Dan Clancy or whatever, like the CEO of Twitch, and being
Pedophile. Dan KKK Clancy has a similar view of Hitler. Because Dan Clancy, the Nazi, fucking anti-Semite. There are certain things you can accuse.
I do think he's anti-Semitic. I don't think that's out of pocket to say. When he had a Q&A and censored questions about why Israeli creators are being censored, why they banned Israelis from joining the platform, why Hassan Biker and all of his dick riders are still allowed on the platform. Yeah, he has favourites, and his favourites just so happen to be people that don't like Jewish people. So I don't think it's a stone's throw.
People of that rise above to make it like actionable, which is like wrongfully accusing someone of being a pedophile, a sex criminal, a murderer, shit like that. Dan Clancy
Online.
now, in other words, he is a pedophile.
Okay, that's
You
gross.
have so much less to go off of saying that
Oh
than
no,
anybody
I was
has
just saying
about
based
Dream.
on his looks. Just on his based on his.
Well, at least you're self-aware.
That's 100% a joke. I have no evidence to conclude that he is.
One of the more notable legal threats that Ethan has sent out recently is against Noah Sampson.
I have nothing but.
Please defend
vibes
Noah
to
Sampson
gain,
right
and
now.
potentially your money as well. Don't worry if you don't have it all now. I'll garnish your wages. You're gonna be living with your parents for a lot longer, buddy. 26, you know what I mean? Try 46.
Noah made a video that was critical of Ethan and other content creators when they're talking about Israel and Palestine. I mean, the way he's talking about Noah, other content.
God, that mustache really is a look. It really is a look. He's like me with shorter hair and less handsome. And more of a pedo stash.
Content creators when they're talking about Israel and Palestine. I mean, the way he's talking about Noah on his podcast is so fucking creepy and weird.
Is this a new thing?
This is a new thing. This happened during the show. Upon initial examination, it seems to check out, and it's not great for young Noah.
Can I say that? Don't say it yet.
I'll say it.
So he's a rape. So of course his standard. I don't know what he's accused of, so I'm not actually going to say. But
Ethan brought on a former partner of Noah to basically just shit talk him and say that he's a bad partner. But that's all that Ethan was able to extract out of it.
you are not accusing him of committing any crimes or doing R-word or anything like that. The accusation is that he's a sleaze.
Absolutely. Noah
Yeah.
Sampson.
Oh my god. Put him under the jail. Put Ethan under the jail. He publicized that Noah Sampson is a fucking sleazebag. Oh.
Fuck you to Noah Sampson.
I think being a sleazebag is like the least of his worries right now when he's calling people genocidal and getting sued for it.
Who's not just a liar and a scumbag, but also a creep. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Now let's talk about the left-leaning Democrat.
He
Oh,
presents himself
that was his whole
as
point.
someone like me, a left-leaning Democrat
That was his whole
who
point.
supports basic things.
The thing that made me start to question Ethan's intentions is that when he was suggested to talk to Sam Cedar, a fellow progressive, a guy that Ethan respects and looks up to,
He works with Sam Cedar at the Majority Report. I respect him and what they do there.
he kept saying that it was racist or anti-Semitic to suggest that he talked to someone who's within the same ethnic group as him.
That's why I said yesterday, like, I urge Ethan to talk to Sam Cedar. There are very thoughtful, very kind anti-Zionist Jews out there that he could talk to. I don't think that I will be able to reach him.
What's the insinuation that I only listen to other Jewish people? You need to talk to my pre-approved list of Jews that like agree with me on everything. You know, it doesn't matter if they're Jewish, dude. It doesn't matter if they're fucking Jewish.
I think most Jews.
I don't think Jews
this
at
is
large
crazy.
view it. I don't think that is the.
In what position are you to even say that?
If it's
You
not
speak for my
motivated by
entire ethnic
myself, it's
group.
motivated
That's
by
crazy to me.
Jews against anti-Zionist
No,
Jews.
seriously, how can you speak for my entire ethnic group? I find that really interesting.
Ethan, I don't know what to fucking tell you. This is like step one of having a leftist ideology, is recognizing our race, religion, nationality, all this shit, all shape our experiences as people.
That's the reason why it'd be better served to have this conversation not with myself, but with an anti-Zionist Jewish person.
Why does it matter if they're Jewish?
The problem is, with phrases like Zionist, anti-Zionist, is that it's being used interchangeably with Jewish person. So a lot of Jewish people are being called Zionist because they're Jewish, which is crazy to me. So that's where the anti-Semitism starts to creep in. I mean, I don't know much about Sam Idubbbz, so I can't really speak on if you should or shouldn't talk to Ethan. Do you know he said the N word like last week? I said that earlier. So I'm not sure if it's someone whose opinion I'd respect too much after that. It's a bit Destiny-ish to me, where he's preaching one thing and doing another. But
because I'm not Jewish, and you've said in this conversation that, like, how can you tell me how to feel about the situation?
Yeah, but how is one person a representative of Jews at large? I'm just telling you how Jewish people around the world interpret that phrase.
So yes, Ethan, on occasion you might be suggested to talk to someone who has some crossover with you. It doesn't have to be your ethnicity. It could possibly be someone who shares progressive ideology with you. It could possibly be someone who is of your same gender. I think Ethan understands this concept very well. He listened to these
Both said the
women on
N-word.
his show when they told him that he shouldn't be calling women bitches.
This bitch is intolerable. You are such a nasty fucking bitch, Ken.
I don't know if you can call her a bitch though.
She is a bitch. She's a
what do you-
fucking.
okay,
You're right.
I'm
I'd call her a
curious-
see you next Tuesday.
Listen, you have
Curious, what do Lena and Sam think about it?
I wouldn't be okay with that.
Yeah.
oh, shut up! Shut up! Shut up! He was clearly using it in a derogatory way. He wasn't just referring to all women as bitches. Man, these bitches tripping, dude.
Yeah.
I feel like that it's for the girlies, Ethan. But I agree.
Sam, shut up. No one likes you. Shut up. Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Give her fucking flashbacks.
You guys all seem to be in consensus that it's in
are.
poor form. I think to respect the women here in the room, I'm going to have to pass.
Yes, that's like, okay. Oh, if a woman is a bitch, then you can call her a bitch. Do I agree that you should call all women bitches? No. But they're damn well doing hip hop. So Ethan is not saying bitch because she's a woman. He's saying bitch because she's a bitch. Bitch. I sound like fucking, what's his name? Jesse, Aaron Paul in Breaking Bad.
The infantilization of Ethan Klein is fucking nauseating. He's not a child. He is absolutely capable of looking into Hassan, learning about his politics, interviewing, doing loads of things to figure out where he stands.
He presents himself as someone like.
He's offered to talk to Hassan if Hassan watches the content nuke. Apparently Hassan wants to debate him about a video that he's never seen, which that's kind of fucking twisted. He's terrified of that video. He's got content nucophobia. So he's willing to talk to Hassan. I just want to put that right out there before we let any more slander fly.
A left-leaning Democrat who supports basic things. And for the first time, I noticed an inordinate amount of radical, hardcore leftists. I mean, I thought we were social democrats, not whatever this was. This comment from Hassan really started to sound some alarms in my head. I was already getting uncomfortable with our partnership. I started to wonder if I had any idea who this guy actually is.
You made how many episodes with Hassan? Like, this guy made a fucking program with the biggest mega leftist on the platform. Now he's acting like he was tricked and he was...
No, yeah, but the whole time they were talking about US politics and fucking anti-vaxxers and right-wings. They weren't talking about Israel-Palestine and, you know, the thoughts on that. I watched that fucking podcast. It was rough, but I watched it.
incapable of figuring out what this guy's beliefs were. Bro, I didn't make the fucking leftist program. You did. You made fucking, what, 60 some odd episodes of this shit for hours talking to this guy? You didn't have a problem with any of it until, Ethan talks about being aware of Hassan's 9/11 comments and then sort of leaves it at that. Like it was just a joke. Actually, I think Ethan describes them as edgy moments or jokes.
You might remember him from such classics as...
America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it. I'm saying it.
Now, to be clear, I knew about all these edgy and controversial jokes at the time we made the show together.
Good guy Hassan Parker, by the way.
Because who am I to judge?
No, Ethan, those aren't jokes, right? When someone makes a controversial statement like that, that's not them trying to be funny. I can understand why you would conflate the two.
Okay, Ethan. Riddle me this, right? If you were so offended by that joke and think that Ethan should have completely cut ties with Hassan, then why was Hassan in the intro of this video? Why were you at his house? If that was clearly such an indefensible, unforgivable statement. If Ethan is meant to cut ties and acknowledge that that is not a joke and it's genuinely his standpoint, then why didn't you? One rule for thee, one rule for me kind of vibes. Have your cake and eat it kind of vibes. Too much CTE in the membrane kind of vibes.
That is someone who is extremely frustrated and passionate about a particular topic. In this case, American imperialism and terrorism. You could have looked into that. You could have talked to Hassan a little bit more and found out what his international politics opinions are. But you wouldn't even need to do that. You can look at it online. You're not a victim. You weren't tricked. You made 60 some odd episodes. If you didn't want to go down this route, you shouldn't have done it. But that was your fucking choice. You did it. You are an adult. When Ethan and Hila are watching Matt Lieb saying that one state doesn't represent all Jews, they cannot wrap their heads around the idea.
No single person represents all Jews.
I'm just telling you how Jewish people around the world interpret that phrase.
No single person represents all Jews, as no single state represents all Jews.
This is another weird thing.
Oh my
Israel
God.
Israel. This is a lie that I see Hassan and people pander. They say that Israel's going to war on behalf of Judaism. They have never. I don't believe that that's ever been stated, and I don't think Israel ever explains that it's like. I think Israel says it's a place where Jews can go.
Israel's just a place Jews can go? With that slogan, we might actually have peace. You know, if that's all you're defining Israel as, is a place Jews can go. Like, sure, it sounds like America to me.
I love cutting clips off and then just not addressing them properly. My mum was clearly midpoint. But, you know, I'm going to put a pin in that one.
All right.
I don't think that Israel said they represent all Jews. I don't think that's a stance. We're like, hey, displacing Palestinians is all Jewish people.
Ethan is being so disingenuous here to suggest that he doesn't understand what Matt Lieb is saying. Like, he's making a semantic argument. Like, I don't think Israel has said that it represents every last Jew on the planet.
Okay, but I don't give a fuck what Matt Lieb says because he associates with Bad Empanada, who we've established as a bit of a garbage person. So, association is very important. Idubbbz. Okay? it seems that you struggle to understand what associations mean. You can't talk to somebody in a fucking AOL chat 20 years ago and then hold the person 20 years later to the same standard for having spoken to him 20 years ago. What a screenshot, by the way. What a pause. What a good pause. Shame you can't see the gold tooth, though.
I don't think Israel has claimed that. They're not going to say that their most genocidal behavior represents anything to do with them, okay? But what they are going to do is they're going to inexplicably link Israel and Jewishness together, so when they're being criticized, all of a sudden, they have the perfect defense. Oh, another thing I need to mention. There was a tier list. It was called the Who Can Say Habibi tier list.
Okay.
I was presented at TwitchCon as like a panel that was just meant to be lighthearted and fun.
For anyone who doesn't know what Sabra is at the bottom, it's a hummus brand. But Frogan did reference it at the start, actually. Again, hummus is fire, bro. I like hummus. Get a ground up chickpea type shit. Yes, please.
And Ethan Klein saw that, and he decided that it was anti-Semitic.
Yeah, it
Listen,
is.
and we're gonna need your help to discuss and figure out who can say Habibi
It was literally an Arab to Jew tier list.
who can't.
And also, like, we have tiers. We have Arab coded. They ask permission to say Habibi. You know, like you,
It's Arab and people from Israel who eat hummus. I don't see why that's hard to understand.
you got like white guys like, can I say it? Is it a slur? And then Love Sabra, which is they're not Arab coded at all.
Now, when I first saw this tier list, I immediately knew what it was doing. I was like, oh, it's a play on the who has the N-word pass and who doesn't tier list. Granted, Habibi is very different than the N-word, but it is a cultural word amongst Arabic-speaking people and Muslim people. Like, that is a word that's used. Habibi, it means my love. Oh no, don't do that, Habibi. Oh yes, Habibi. You're my Habibi.
So
I'm your
basically, it's
Habibi.
whoever
So
passes
yes,
the
it's meant to
vibes
be a fun
for
way
Frogan.
that these Arab content creators can express
Arab
their
content creators, fucking denims. This white bitch. This white bitch. What are we talking about?
proud
Arab.
of it and happy.
They're all white people. Frogan is fucking half American, lives in America. Say she hates Americans.
because it's not
Oh,
like
boy.
they have massive representation on the platform.
Making a tier list based on race. And nobody has a fucking problem with that. Okay, you have a tier list based on race. Where's the Jewish panel? Where's the Jewish panel? Where at the top it says Jewish. It's a tier list based on Arab to Jew. He's Arab, which is good. That's the best thing you can be on this. That's the best. This is racist.
I will say that conveying information through a tier list is not the most effective thing, but Ethan should understand this principle. He did a white slurs tier list with Hassan.
Cracker.
I mean, you know what my take is.
Okay. And Ethan, a white man, made a tier list with Hassan, the world's palest Turk, about white slurs. They didn't do a fucking skin tone tier list. They just said what slurs are the funniest towards ourselves.
We can't put this as an F. Cracker. I mean, that's got to be at least a D, right?
Oh,
Pale
boy.
face, motherfucker.
Pale face. I mean, again, I think that's an F. Hog.
So Hog is my favorite. I use it all the time.
Him and Hassan feel as though they are white guys, so they...
That would be equivalent, right, to if Ethan made a slurs tier list, put all the white ones at the bottom, because those were the bad, you can't say those, and put every other slur at the top. That's what the equivalency is. That is another false equivalency. Ian, please don't make another video. Just retire, go into the sunset. You've got enough money, I'm sure. Put it into crypto, put it into real estate.
They felt very comfortable.
I mean, you fucking took enough money for charity that you didn't give, so... Actually, no, you do have a bit of a problem with fucking budgeting, apparently, so maybe you're dirt broke. Who knows?
Talking about white slurs on their tier list.
I think I'm more white than you. What do you think?
I think I'm white. Like, I'm super white.
Can you understand why Arabs might feel comfortable talking about Arab shit on their tier list, Ethan? You're the white guy. You think you're more white than Hassan.
I think I'm more white than you.
So, yeah, the white guy can say all the things that he wants, like cracker, but the Arabs can't have their tier list.
I would put him also in Arab. I know Turkish
think he's
people
done
are
enough.
different.
Notice how they dropped the premise almost immediately that it's about who can say Habibi. And then it's like Hassan, okay, actually he's Arab. We fucking love him. He's dope. He's Arab.
Habibi is an Arabic word. That is an Arabic word, Ethan.
Funny about this whole thing is that they say Habibi in Israel. Again, people under
It's a tier list, man. It's a tier list. The bottom is bad. The top is good. Ian's been on YouTube for how fucking long? Ian has made how many fucking tier lists? And he doesn't understand how they work? He doesn't understand how they work? Really? I don't buy it, dude. This is malicious as fuck.
estimate just how like mixed Israeli culture is. Like,
We say Habibi in Israel. Yes, Ethan. Another piece of evidence as to why it isn't anti-Semitic.
This is racist.
If you're not Arab or understand...
It's not anti-Semitic. People just say Habibi in Israel, and you've got a bunch of Arabic people telling them that it's not their word. That's not anti-Semitic, though.
Arab culture at all, which is a lot of Americans, and Ethan Klein presents you this tier list and calls it anti-Semitic, you're just going to eat it up. It's not. Ethan is just proving his location on this tier list under Love Sabra because he doesn't understand Arab culture. There's a lot of Arabs who eat Sabra. There's a lot of people like me who eat Sabra. A lot of the times it's all that's in the store, and I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna eat it, but it is not the good shit. Like the average Arab American.
Okay.
They're gonna go in the store and the only option they have is fucking Sabra, and that sucks that that's the only option, right? Arab communities and distribution facilities are not widespread across the U.S., so what are they left with? They're left with a common, relatable, shitty hummus, which is Sabra. And what's so fucking pathetic about this whole thing is after he was able to get these Arab creators banned off of Twitch for 30 days, he goes on to talk about how bad Sabra hummus is on his show.
I don't think...
Oh my god. He slandered Sabra. How fucking dare he? He gets people banned for making a racial tier list and then dislikes hummus. Am I in a fucking... No, I said earlier, I'm definitely on fucking acid or something. Is there something in my water? Was there something in that monster? It's got me fucking tripping balls. He's slandering hummus, goddammit. What kind of Israeli is he?
Anybody prefers Sabra over homemade, like, restaurant quality hummus. You know, it's what's there.
Like weirdly fluffy.
It is fluffy.
Sabra. Weird.
Yeah.
I would buy it sometimes and eat it. It's not the best.
The problem is with Sabra, in my opinion, it's only good for the first 2 days.
For some reason, like, when you eat this Sabra shit, it just...
Oh my god, hummus goes bad. Oh! Oh! My hummus, man. How dare you eat that? You've completely lost me. You fucking spoke shit about hummus. I've been saying for fucking damn near 4 hours about how much I like hummus. How do you shit talk hummus? Oh, fuck you, Ethan. You don't like hummus. I don't like you, bitch. How about that?
It feels so much heavier. Imagine eating a whole fucking vat of Sabra. That's crazy.
Yeah. I've never liked hummus.
Oh, okay.
Well, you...
I eat a whole vat of Sabra. Oh. Oh, God. Fuck, man. Ethan, I had your back, bro. I had your back. I looked out for you. Where were you for me? I was there for you. You weren't there for Sabra, you fucking bitch.
Hate Jews, then.
I don't...
And Arabs.
Yeah.
This is racist.
Yeah, it's almost like you can have a discussion about Sabra hummus being a bad hummus without it being at all related to a Jewish thing or an Israeli thing. He can have that discussion as much as he wants on his podcast because we all know his intentions aren't anti-Semitic.
This is what he did. He hit his heart hard.
I can't believe, right? That a man who lived in Israel and has an Israeli wife, Jewish parents and Jewish kids would say that restaurant hummus is better than store-bought shit. How dare he, dude?
Uh-huh.
The Zionism is leading to not accepting other cultures, embracing their own culture, and instead thinking that that is an attack on you. There's this incident on the podcast where
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
they were reacting to Cutie Cinderella.
He was not assaulted.
And Ethan was laughing during it. So
because her melodrama is amusing.
that ended up being a pretty important wake-up call for Ethan. He made an
It shouldn't have been. He made an apology and retracted it, so I hear.
apology video directed at Cutie Cinderella, and it was graded by a professional psychologist, Dr. Kirk Honda of Psychology in Seattle, and Ethan got an A+ rating.
In terms of a public apology, this is A+.
Ethan won't stop talking about his A+ rating.
You know, he rated my apology to Cutie Cinderella a perfect score, a perfect 10.
A perfect 10 out of 10?
Literally 10 out of 10. Go back. I can teach you how to make a
Right.
good apology. I'm
Right,
the best at
10
it.
out of 10.
I know what a perfect apology is, lady. You fucking don't. Is my perfect apology in this PowerPoint? Dude, I got a perfect 10 out of 10. This one is actually best apology, so.
I wish I could say the word I want to say, but it's like YouTube demonetization instant. I mean, I'm not monetized, but for the future, just in case. He looks so see you next Tuesday here. Like, you know, one of our words, one of our gay words. She looks so see you next Tuesday. CVNT, you know?
Best apology.
She is serving, mama.
Ethan Klein, you guys, oh my god.
I was trying really hard to think about an impactful moment during this video. Like, could I do something that would really wake Ethan up? And I don't know if this came from a good place or not, but I came up with the idea of getting Ethan's grade changed.
I don't think any of this video has come from a good place. Just so that's out there.
From an A to a B at least. So I went to visit Psychology in Seattle. I'm not confident that Kirk will change his grade, but it's worth trying. And, you know, we might learn a thing or two.
Xander! Probably get pretty low marks. Unlike me, perfect score, 10. I said, hey, Lud, no wig drama. Why are you such a spineless coward of a person now that you've inserted yourself and your girlfriend into this conversation?
Okay, Idubbbz,
Now they...
Oh, they still stream with him. That's good.
hear you.
So she did all that crying and then just streamed with the guy anyway.
You're in the room with me right now. I hear you. I hear your request. I understand it. I can understand where it's coming from. And I guess have a policy that when there is a grade for an apology, I am just grading that discrete apology.
So why are we here? If he's going based on what someone says and their body language and all that, why are we here? When the whole original video was the vacuum of the apology. Why are we here to change the score?
As I see it, without taking any consideration of prior or future behavior. If you're wanting me to comment on the overall behavior or the recent behavior from the clips that you have shown me, I believe that...
Some crazy out of context clips that he's shown him, by the way. Like this whole video. This whole awful video.
Ethan is a good person and that eventually he will feel sorrow and will feel sorry and will apologize, and I will be there to evaluate that apology when it happens, which I know it will.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Unfortunately, Kirk did not change his grade.
Oh no. Oh no.
But that's okay, because this is the internet. Anyone can have their own official apology rating system. So I'm going to rate Ethan's apology.
So that was just a big flop. That was just a flop. Another flop during Idubbbz's flop era. It's like a drop in a puddle.
B-. That's just based on my own feelings and my own
Oh no, who got a passing grade.
rubric. When Psychology in Seattle was watching these video clips of Ethan,
You got a passing grade.
he said
Oh no.
that it looks like Ethan could just use a hug. Now, of course, it kind of pisses me off to hear that shit because I'm like, What are we doing? What are we saying? He needs a hug? No, he doesn't need a hug. He needs a good fucking ass whooping is what he...
Ian, what you need, right, ironically. So, you know in, like, cartoons and shit, where someone gets, like, hit on the head, they get, like, amnesia, brain damage, whatever, and then they get hit on the head again, and then it, like, reverses it? That's what Ian needs. I'm throwing the gauntlet down. Ian, create a Clash 4. You and me, bitch.
What he needs. I think so.
Like, true, genuine dislike for you. This is no performative shit. Because we know you like performativeness. I'm fucking me. Authentically. Officially. Always and forever.
Something that's very important to me in bringing back Content Cop is to be fair. I think that was something that was not illustrated in previous Content Cops that I think should have been, and probably wouldn't have left me with so much regret.
It was a lot more fair in those than it has been in this. This was like super bad faith.
Ethan deserves...
Ethan said something mean about Ian, so... Hour-long, horrible, terrible video.
all of the criticism that he's getting. I think it's very valid. But I also think, at the end of the day, we should acknowledge that he's human, because he is human. And he is in a situation...
Are you? Non-playable character, default down.
...that's making him extremely scared, paranoid, defensive, sensitive, and I'm sure other features and feelings. In the spirit of Kirk saying that it looks like Ethan could just use a hug, I have challenged some of his most powerful haters to put down the haterade and just say something nice and charitable about
Oh, this is going to be good.
him.
This is going to be good.
I think he deserves it.
I just wanted to say that I respect that you are genuinely yourself on the internet. I think a lot of other people respect you for it as well.
I'd respect if she was. I'd respect if Idubbbz was genuine. If she just every now and then said, like, I don't fucking know about this shit. Look, she's wearing a normal shirt here as well. She's not showing off her fucking tatties. Her balloons. You know. I'm down for Idubbbz's real person era. And not just parrot, low-cut shirt wearing parrot. No. That's it. That works by itself. Low-cut t-shirt wearing parrot.
I think that's a big reason why...
Because she parrots the wrong point as well. Maybe it wouldn't be so problematic if she was right. But she's just dumb.
People were drawn
and she parrots bad people.
to your content in the first place. I think that's a lot of the
Ugh.
reason why your employees chose to work with you over anyone else.
Ethan, I think it's respectable that you even began this journey to leave behind the anti-SJW crowd and step into a more empathetic worldview. I know it's not easy.
Ethan Klein, I think that when you are being goofy, when you're being silly, when you are being lighthearted, and just having fun with your friends, I think that is when you're at your best.
But when you're being Jewish...
So I'd love to see more of that. That'd be sick.
I will be reading my letter off because I don't want to sound robotic. H3 used to be the sports figure that I used to watch.
She's going to read a script so she doesn't sound robotic, by the way. She's just going to read lines instead of actually say something she means.
My letter
So she doesn't sound robotic.
off because I don't want to sound robotic. H3 used to be the sports figure that I used to watch. I hope that one day gets back to what I remember. You were one of the inspirations for me to start creating content, so all this has stunk. I hope you really hear this, and I wish you the best.
I think... Bitch, didn't you start calling him anti-Semitic because he unfollowed you on Twitter? You called him a Zionist because he didn't like you on Twitter anymore and you had a whole meltdown. Rising star 2 times.
Ethan Klein rocks a buzz cut pretty good, and I think he just got a good...
Card Noah is on the verge of tears right now. He's about to get hit by that generational debt. That's crazy.
choice of facial hair. I think it's really cool what he did 8 years ago, fighting that frivolous lawsuit. That was pretty fucked up. And fighting it, you know, he changed YouTube for the better.
How's this lawsuit going, Noah?
And I thought that was cool because I thought it was like he was fighting for free speech.
you know, I also see the dynamic.
What the fuck is he crying for? Oh boy. Noah says Ethan's standing for free speech. Meanwhile, Noah's calling him genocidal for no good reason and getting sued for it is brilliant. Actions have consequences. Consequences will never be the same.
Like of Ethan and Neil, I'm like, fuck, like it's really hard to be a couple online and see people attacking your partner, and it's like, okay, like if you come to their defense, if that doesn't always help them, right? Sometimes that makes it worse for them.
And I have
Ian, right, listen to me, right? Free therapy right now. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. People are attacking your partner because you both suck. Okay? Just like people are attacking you because you suck. Okay? That's why people are attacking your partner. Because you're both awful. Oh.
have been kind of slipping into a very unhealthy place where it's gotten worse and worse, and I get criticized more and more, and I get more defensive and more pulled up, a feeling of almost infallibility that I could take anything on. It led me to make a lot of mistakes, and then when I was criticized for those mistakes, then I would act extremely defensive and nasty and not really processing them in a healthy way.
Okay, but the difference is Ethan has actual defenders now. Meanwhile, this period of Ethan, bit of a dark period, because everybody hated him. So clearly he's doing something right if people like him. You know what I'm saying? Oh, God. Okay, finish line. Wow, Ian, that was a great video. Make another one. Oh, I forgot that all of the comments were like not about the video at all. So that's great. Yeah. That's been the stream. What a video. In conclusion, what the fuck was that? That's my conclusion. The one okay point that he had was about comparing his and Idubbbz' relationship to his and Olivia's. But he's just straight up wrong about like the rest of it. That was a tough fucking watch. But I really appreciate you guys sticking through it. Can I think of a way Ethan was wrong? Yeah, you shouldn't have apologized to Cute Cinderella. That's how you were wrong, Ethan. Ian, this whole video was wrong. There's still time to delete it, my dude. But I get that you had to try to save your dying channel, since you can't even run a charity event and make a profit for charity. Hope Karate Clash 3 goes super well for you, and that you're not delusional and book the same stadium that you did for number 2. But you did. So, yeah, YouTuber boxing is not washed. You're right about that, and you're really going to make a killing. Maybe next time don't book 27 different galas and hire stand-up comedians and fly people in and book them hotel rooms. I don't know. I'm no expert on charity, right? But I think normally the goal is to try to not lose money and then get investigated by the IRS as to how you lost so much money. But that's just me. Ian, you seem like a dog shit horrible friend to like anybody, which is crazy because, you know, a few years ago I'd have probably said like Idubbbz as a friend, that's cool. He seems chill. Now you seem fucking awful. So I think anybody that has nearly been friends with you or is former friends with you has dodged a pretty major bullet, because this is the result. So I hope you leave more, you know, life-changing events to go get tattoos with your wife whose surname you took. And yeah, that was a really awesome video, and you should definitely make another one. Goodbye, guys.